All right, we're live. Hello, fellow comic book worms, and the fellow. What do you guys call you guys? Community. I think I need to change this. Hold on.
The couch not working for you. Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry. So consider this a test, guys. I'm a little nervous now because of this.
It's okay.
All right, there you go. All right. Hello, guys. Sorry you were late. Thanks for coming out. I have here Katie and Ryan Rodegawa. Ryan's going to be sort of like our guest host, and Katie's going to be leading the show today. She's going to introduce our
perfect
main guest of the day. So, Katie, I'm going to go and just leave it to you, and I'll see if I could operate the chat.
Okay. All right. So, you want me to bring him out front, or do you want me to introduce him?
You could introduce the guest.
All right. So, our guest tonight is Jonboy Meyers. Hello. Woo! Give us a round of applause. And blue, 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 blue. There you are.
Hey,
Hi. Hi.
Can you see me okay, or does it look too weird? Was it like, I don't know.
That's good.
It looks okay. Kind of looks like there's some Vaseline smeared on your thing, but you're looking studly. It's all right.
Well, the background's supposed to be blurred, but this Halo thing, I think I got a new desk. I got a 51-inch monitor, so it's like long. So my desk lamp doesn't sit there anymore. So I have to. What does that? I have to put a light over it, which kind of creates this weird ring halo effect.
It's like a Doctor Strange halo ring.
Jumbo my the ghost.
Yeah, it's a little weird. So, but thanks for having me, man. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Doing great.
Long night. I know. It's been a good day so far.
Where's Eman and the rest of the gang? Are they not joining us? Or are they just chilling in the comments section?
Eman
Filipino time.
just commented. He said he couldn't make it. Yeah, but he said he might join a little later.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know. Give him crap the next time you see him. Like,
how dare you, sir? How dare you?
Yeah, never come on your stuff again, mister.
Yeah, I know. Forget it.
Oh,
they're good guys.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Otaku, he said he'd be late too. So.
I'm sorry. What?
Otaku, my partner.
Oh yes, yeah. Where's he at? Like everyone's like.
Everyone's slacking today. What the hell?
That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
Well, all the cool kids are here. That's
all the cool ones are here.
You hear that? You hear that, E-Man? Oh, take that. My hair's better. Saying.
Yeah. Even sorry, your luck didn't help you on this case.
No, too bad.
All right. Okay. First of all, we're gonna have a little giveaway at the end of the show. We're gonna give away from the Jonboy Meyers comic, the shop that he has web store. So, but it's gonna be USA only. And
that's right.
Because I don't know if you're set up for shipping outside of the country.
I can, but it gets a little pricey sometimes because I think shipping anything into Canada is super expensive, and then shipping stuff overseas is air parcel post. So it's always about weight and size at that point, and it always fluctuates because it's the US dollar is kind of up and down. So
right.
Kind of like that thing you do in the car when you're like driving.
Rolling with the homies.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So, but sorry,
we're gonna be doing a little duck race, So we've been like recording everybody's name, K-pop has, and
nice.
So, because this is spreading throughout the 5 different channels, we got running on K-pop's channel, we got running on Ryan. No, we don't want to put it on Ryan's channel.
My only follower is NammaN.
I didn't even know, Ryan, you had a channel, and like we've been friends for like 20 years. What's this?
I think he has like 3 posts on there.
At least he has one. I have no channel, so I just have my Instagram page and my Facebook page, and I used to have Twitter, and then I got rid of it because it's got two bananas. Because I don't post political stuff, but then it just got bogged down with all these like political rantings, and I used to have a Twitter too.
Too much of that. I think, matter of fact, we got a lot of people from Twitter coming here too. I think so.
Hey, we love Twitter. I'm just saying.
No, you can tell them to suck it. It's fine.
It's a little toxic. So yeah,
it's all good.
Then we got Eman's channel. We got Otaku's channel, Jeff's channel. So we got this video going everywhere. So 5-6 different channels. So
well, if I embarrass myself, then it's to a large audience. That's great. Let's do it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Works out. Your thing is blurry. I can tell it's you. That's fine. It works. It's great.
All right, K-pop. I'll let you take over the interview.
Take over the interview. Well, hello. Hi. Before we do that, in case we don't know, would you like to introduce yourself to the crowd that we have in the chat right now? There's lots of people.
Are we doing it individually, or are you asking me?
Or no, you can go. They already know us.
No.
They don't want to know about us anymore.
Ryan do that first. That's fine. Yeah, I want to know, who are these people?
You want to know who these people are? All right.
Well, what about you, K-pop? What about you?
Hi, I'm K-pop. I am the turdiest one of them all. I host a crappy podcast. I do crappy art, and I'm here doing your modular duties today. Yeah.
And what is the channel thing name is called?
Literally K-pop junkie. I don't know why any comic people come to my channel.
And the series called what? Series called. I'm gonna try to get that out of it.
I have 2. Okay, I have one called Fartist Feature and one called Kicking It with K-pop. Yes, I know. Hi, hello.
She does an amazing job. She goes and sports people that are on what are those
campaigns? Yeah,
the campaigns and the crowdfunding for the artists. So when they kickstart something, she support all these local artists that she goes to convention center, invite them, and she and then she promotes them, and they make their goals, and she does a fantastic job on that. So we got a lot of artists coming through our channel because of K-pop. Me, I'm just running.
Gonna make you weird. There you go. There's your lovely face now. Hi.
Hey, wait! I didn't get your screen big.
Here's me. Okay. Now we're back to you again. Boom. There you go. Hi.
So I'm sorry the Otaku is not here, but me and Otaku started this thing about 2-3 years ago. And I think Jonboy Meyers, you were one of our first guests. So
yeah, we talked last year. Was it last year during?
We talked a little bit, and we're going to go see you at the what is that, Seattle?
Oh yeah, it was not
Emerald City Con.
Right.
I couldn't come see you because you got COVID.
That's right.
Oh, boo, COVID! Do not recommend that. No.
Years and I ended up getting it, and it's just like, and I got it twice, which is kind of like, man.
Man. Yeah, I actually got twice myself. I mean, second one wasn't so bad. First one was pretty bad, but
it was like a bad flu. I was laid up for like maybe 4 or 5 days each time. It wasn't it wasn't too bad.
I got that cloud. Was it the?
Oh, the brain fog thing.
I did have brain fog. I did have that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, brain fog. Okay, I'm gonna let Ryan.
There's Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah, I know. I've known Jonboy for a long time.
Yeah.
Since when? Early 2000s.
At least maybe like late. I'd say like 98, maybe on.
98.
Oh wow.
When were you at He-Man? What was it called?
Oh, He-Man.org. The He-Man books. Yeah, that was. Oh man, that's like 98 to 2001, something like that. So yeah, it was. Oh wow, that really brings me back. That's like a whole other life. Wow. Yeah.
So I guess we met at like conventions or something, right? Or
I think so. I met you through Mark Irwin.
oh, Mark,
because Mark is an inker, a one-year alumnus from Wildstorm, and I met you because I had a table next to him in Artist Island. I think you swung by, and later years you were like a couple tables down from us.
Yeah.
And then we got like with Tony Washington and you guys. Yeah. And and then we all had a booth together one year, which was
shenanigans.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. Yeah, it was, but it's too many people. We had like 8 people in like a 10 by 10. It was bananas.
Oh, that's a lot of people in one space. Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was.
I think at one point we worked on. Did we work on that Twisted Metal project for Sony?
We did Twisted Metal together. I was doing backgrounds because I think Cheeks brought me in on that, or Tony. No, Tony brought me in on that. Tony Washington, because he was doing production art and stuff for that, and then we did a book together called Low Orbit, which was an anthology, right?
Oh, well, you guys actually worked on a book together.
Yeah, we did our own creator.
Oh, look at that!
Back then. Right.
I don't know if anybody's seen that.
Right. Yeah.
This one,
nice.
That was my character. This one's your character.
Mine was a character called Riot Girl, and then yours was God, man.
Gutterbunk.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, that's it. See, there's mine, Riot Girl. But
yeah, this was like kind of an anthology with like artist friends and
like it was
like the precursor to that. Was it? What do they call it? Pop or something? Pop gun. Yeah.
But none of us ended up working on Pop Gun. So So like, I don't even think we ever got asked either. I never did. So.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like,
I think it was one of the guys kept it going or something.
Oh, which guy? Who was it?
Was it Mark? It was Mark Smith.
Yeah, Yeah, but he's a writer though. Like this is more art driven. This whole our creator stuff was mainly art. But I think who brought Mark on? Was that Sean?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Weird. All right. Well, there you go. A little inside baseball there.
Yeah.
All right. Now introduce yourself.
Hi guys. I'm comic book artist Jonboy Meyers. I worked in comics for a very long time. Worked on everything from covers for like Venom and Spider-Man, Batman, a lot of stuff for Marvel and DC. Hey, what's up? What's up, Wong? And then of course I worked on Spawn and Teen Titans Rebirth and worked on Inhumans. So I've known all these fun folks for some for a hot minute and some for a very long time. So like Ryan, I've known for ages. So and I've been a big fan of his work long before that too. So yeah. I remember Mark was telling me a really cool story about you, Ryan, when you were at his bachelor party. Do you remember that? Yes, you do.
Uh-oh, bachelor party.
Oh my, you're getting some juicy information here.
But no, it was funny. It's a funny story, but we can't repeat that here. So.
Was it his or was it friends? Oh,
it was a good story, but you know what happened?
So was it with rich friends? Richer
Mark
friends?
Irwin. Mark's bachelor party.
Is that his?
Mark got married.
I don't remember which one.
Which one? There's so many.
So it wasn't that bad. It was that bad, huh?
I was rich friends.
No, it was it was a pretty funny story when I heard I busted a gut. So
maybe
Ryan is quite the party animal. You wouldn't know that by looking at it. He really is. So yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that about you, Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
Hey, Otaku's here, and so is Eman. Cool. Everyone's in the chat. All right on, guys.
Yeah, they're there in spirit.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
They're still buttholes. Yeah.
I can't tell. I can't say anything about the party animal stories. Those are Ryan's stories to tell. All I know.
Or not.
They're pretty wild and pretty juicy. Like Ryan was a madman.
Ryan was a madman. Oh.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He always Ryan is a pretty funny.
It's always the quiet one that.
when you get him going, when he
Very
starts
true.
saying stuff and joking, he's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
He has
I think
to
if
know
you
you.
put me in a box.
No, well, you are in a box right now, literally. Yeah, there's no cocaine. Well, maybe there's cocaine. I don't know.
No.
You have to ask Ryan. I don't think there's any cocaine. There's probably alcohol, copious amounts of alcohol.
Oh my.
Yeah, there was weed, but I didn't really smoke or anything.
Right. Maybe you have the contact high or something like that. Maybe.
Just alcohol.
Yeah. I think about you too, man. I wish you were here, buddy.
I know. Look, you're missing out, bro.
So, but that's the thing about friends. Sometimes, when you're around a good group of friends and you feel safe, you can get a little crazier. So it's always kind of nice. Hey, what's up? It's Eman's not a party pooper. No, he's just he's got a lady. He's got responsibilities. So.
Yeah, he's probably at home brushing his hair.
Soul glow.
He's like, I'm gonna win best hair this year. Not happening, but good try.
That would be kind of funny if you guys give out awards every year, and then it's like prettiest podcast hair, and it's like Eman wins.
There's the CBC awards come out next month, and the category is best hands, facial hair, and what's the other one? But yeah, that's a category. we're our hair nemesis together. Yeah.
What's that? Jonboy's working in his facial hair right now.
Yeah, I shaved it. I shaved it. I just got back in. I shaved it. I had to clean up a little bit, but then as soon as that event's over, I can let it grow out a little bit. It's kind of, at least it's coming in rather evenly, not like most of my other Asian friends. It comes in like wisps or patches. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so.
Mine comes out like this, like Fu Manchu,
Oh, that's a good thing because you could do this. You could do the low pan.
Oh, low pan's hot. You got to do the low pan. Yes.
Do the low pan.
Yeah. Also.
Yeah. How did he do that? What was low pan's thing? I can't remember. I don't know.
I don't know. I love Lopan. I can picture him, and he's always talking about the green-eyed girls. But come on, that's the guy.
But James Hong has been in everything. He should be an honorary Oscar for as long as that guy. He's been acting as long as
everything
around since he was a little kid. So
he's been in so much.
He just got a star. I want to say he just got a star.
He did.
Thanks to Daniel Day Kim, who helped organize that. There is such a thing as getting recognized for a larger body of work. And it's all art, but I mean, just the fact that he's lasted this long and he's done so many iconic roles, it's kind of like, you should recognize people for their contributions to the media. Because he's probably one of the first to be doing it. Like even, I mean, he was doing it when, Katharine Hepburn was doing, Yellowface, in film. So.
Oh gosh.
You remember that, right? Now, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right?
That's long.
Very long time. Yeah.
A long time ago, but I mean, I'm not here or there anyway. But I mean, he's a great actor. A lot of iconic roles, a very iconic voice. It's good for him. I hope he gets an honorary Oscar at some point. He's one of my favorite actors. So.
I think he got Emmys and something other things, didn't he not? Though he got some awards though.
Yeah, I think here's the thing. Like, I know awards are kind of like anyway. Like, I could care less. But I think for somebody who's been doing it for so long to get recognized by the wider body of Hollywood for his contributions and things he's done for almost. I mean, the guy's probably like 85 or something like that. So he's been acting since he was like 4. So
he's 95.
Oh, he's 95. I'm sorry. So he's probably been doing at least 80 years or more.
Oh, so. He looks fantastic for 95. Like for real, the dude is.
Well, the Asians are back, right? Like they don't age the same rate as everyone else. I guess.
He got a SAG award for everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Good for him. Yeah.
Wasn't he in what was that movie called Little China. What was it?
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China. That's
he was in that one, right?
Yeah, that's Lo Pan.
Yeah, and he would be. I mean, he look older there than right now.
Well, he was also in. He's the voice of Poe's father, the Duck Father, in Kung Fu Panda.
I love Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah,
Kung Fu Panda is one of my favorite things.
Great Balls of Fury.
Balls of Fury, yeah.
Yeah.
He plays.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you could go ahead. Oh yeah.
Oh, Eman just popped up something. So it's yes, Asian American Pacific Islander. What does it mean to? So we have a question from Eman. There you go. What does it mean to be half Vietnamese in an industry where there isn't too many Vietnamese? I think there are a lot of Vietnamese. I think because there is a huge comic market in Vietnam, but a lot of Vietnamese guys that I know are actually in games. But there's some prominent ones too. He was Booger's Master. That is true. He was Booger's Master. I think probably the most famous of us all is comic book artist Dustin Nguyen, not 21 Jump Street actor.
Yeah.
But there's other guys like there's Eric Nguyen. There's a couple other folks too. The names escape me because you're putting me on the spot. But I think in this industry, I think it's just good in general to be recognized for your body of art, for the work that you do. And like, I think if people just happen to be a person of I think these are term like person of color or ethnicity, like I think it's cool to get those acknowledgments as well. But I mean, we're in such a visual medium. I think it's always more about the work that you're doing and the quality of work. It doesn't matter like if you're a man or a woman, or like black, Asian, white, it doesn't matter. I think it always matters is the quality of work and what you're contributing, because I think in our industry, you're judged by what you create at the end of the day. That's all that matters, that moves the needle. And if you're not creating as a creator, then it's just kind of like, well, what good are you? What are you contributing to the medium? Because it doesn't matter at that point. Because like I think for me, it's great to be recognized for your body of work first, because that's something that's really important to me. And I think my Asian heritage, even like my dad's German heritage, they're both important to me as well. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think for me, just being recognized as a good human being is the most important thing, and then trying to help and elevate as many people as I can, because I've had so many great people who helped me. Like one of the guys who helped me was Carl Potts, and I think Carl is, speaking of like Asian American Heritage Month, Carl is I think Carl is Japanese, is he, Ryan?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's tough. Yeah,
and he was one of the first guys who actually like pulled me aside and actually helped me out. He sent me a bunch of stuff on his own dime and like try to like straighten me out a little bit, like, hey, this is what you're doing, and he gave me a whole photocopied packet of like 5 C's of cinematography, some small photocopy of Andrew Loomis's How to Draw for All It's Worth, and this is when he was in Colorado, and he did a lot to help me out.
He was there when Jim Lee was starting too.
He helped Jim. Yeah, he helped Jim. Like he did Jim's layouts for 2 years. All of Jim's stuff on Digital Word Journal he did for Jim. So, which is pretty amazing in itself. And kudos to Carl though, because his Alien Legion finally is out of development hell. So hopefully it'll see the light of day. So, and if nobody knows what Alien Legion is, oh man, it's so ahead of its time. If you guys can pick up the back issues somewhere or the trades, it's really.
Is that Larry Stroman?
Larry did quite a bit of stuff before Larry got discovered at Marvel. He worked on that with Carl, but I think Carl's had other artists on that too, kind of pop in and out. But I think Larry was one of the main guys. Yeah, you're right.
Is it Wilf too? Is it Wilf?
Wills Porte? I don't know if Wills. I think Wills was an inker at that time, but like Wills did a lot of stuff over there early Arthur Adams too. So
yeah,
I think Frank Scirocco too. You're saying Frank Scirocco, and I think Frank Scirocco is out here in the Bay Area somewhere. So, but I've never met him. And with a name like Frank Shiraka, you never knew that the guy was like Asian. You're like, oh, you know, when I first met Dustin Gwynn, and he found out I was half Vietnamese, he got like his jaw dropped. He's like, "Well, you're the tallest Asian person I've ever like." He goes, "You don't even look." He goes, "You don't look white, but you don't look Asian either." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." Which I guess is not too bad, because like when my mom first got here, towards the end of the Vietnam War, she got spit on and just really, really discriminated against. So I think she never taught us the language, and she just kind of wanted us to blend in, you know. So, which was, it's really hard to hear that, because, you know, being able to identify with your heritage and understanding the language and knowing who you are, I think maybe that's why I maybe identify more with the things that I do rather than like the things that make up me. It's just because I don't know a lot about it. Like my mom's family disowned her, and she couldn't go back, you know, and then she had such a hard time trying to fit in here, especially after the war. It was extremely difficult for her, and she just kind of wanted to fly under the radar, you know, and so many times. So it was really, really tough for many, at least for my mom. I know, being Vietnamese and coming here in 72, 73 was super hard on her. It was just like.
Have you seen the Sympathizer on Max?
I have not, but I heard it's really good. It's got Robert Downey in like multiple like disguises and stuff. So it looks pretty wacky, but
it's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a couple of episodes, but yeah, it's about like the fall of Saigon, right around there.
It's supposed to be a true story, right? Based on a true story, or am I like?
I guess so.
Maybe loosely based, because you got to dramatize it. But I mean, the guy was a spy, and I think it is an Asian lead, like a Vietnamese lead, which is kind of nice. So
yeah, I mean, they speak Vietnamese and everything. Yeah, that's cool.
I haven't watched it. I don't do a lot of TV. I do like maybe an hour a night. That's about it. I don't do.
Yeah, it's interesting because my wife is Chinese, but she was born in Vietnam, and their family was like over there too. So like we just finished watching like Shogun, and that's like a whole kind of cool like since I'm Japanese, like just sort of like how it was back then, and then the Sympathizer came on, so we started kind of watching that too.
Does she identify more with Vietnamese because she grew up there than she does with her Chinese?
No, it's funny because I talked to her about it, and she's like, people told me that I would speak like fluent Vietnamese when she was younger. Then she didn't know pretty much any words like now. So she grew up mostly like Cantonese, like her family.
Oh, okay. Cantonese. You know, I bet you if you guys went to Vietnam and dropped her in there for a week, she'd pick it right back up again. Oh, it's all coming back to me. Oh.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Her mom might know some. I think she knows some.
Ah, that's cool. Yeah.
Hey, Jonboy, sorry for coming in late.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, great to see you again.
And
and yeah, you know, again, you came on the show when we first started this Heritage Month, sort of acknowledgement of the community. I just wanted to ask, you know, you have this close knit group of, you know, artists, creators in the industry, and you just mentioned Dustin Nguyen. So, I mean, do you find that the Asian American creative community kind of reaches out and kind of watches out for each other and kind of helps each other along in the industry?
Man, how do I say this with being nice but being very correct? Because it's actually, you know, the more Americanized you are, and maybe that's not the right term, but the more Western you are, you know, your level of integrity, and you're very morally flexible. So, but the more traditional you are, like first generation coming over, I think you have a high level of sense of community and honor and integrity. I've noticed usually like a lot of my friends, a lot of the people who helped me were very much Asian Americans who helped me and encouraged me quite a bit. But But then I have my fair share of ones who are just regular artists or other Asian artists who would undercut you in a minute to get a job. So there's that fine quality that kind of seeds itself maybe in the Asian culture too, where it's like, you know, every man for himself. But I think it comes down to your value system too. And I notice a lot of younger artists when I meet them, regardless of their race or heritage, like there's always a lack of patience. They always kind of want things now. They want to move fast. They want to do things. And the thing I keep trying to tell them is, you know, it's good to kind of struggle and try to figure things out, because you have a better, stronger foundation for rejection. And because if you make it too fast, too soon, you know, and you're this superstar, and then one day, you know, you get rejected or something happens, or you hit a trial, you don't have the skills to handle it. You know, you kind of fall apart, you know. I mean, Ryan and I, we've seen guys, you know, who in our clique, you know, or people we've known who got fame too soon, too fast, and they just turned into raging douchebags, you know, and it's really hard to be around them. And it's just because they hit it too fast, and they just didn't, the sense of what they could do is a little disproportionate, you know. But most of my friends who are like kind of like raised in the 80s like myself, or maybe first generation coming over, like all of us have a stronger sense of integrity and I think a stronger work ethic. But maybe that's just old man me looking back at it, because we look at things a little differently, you know, in the past than we do at today's thing. So I'm probably not 100% right, but just in my experiences, that's kind of the things that I experienced. But I think the things that I like the most about Asian American community is a sense of community, because you still have a lot of that where you know, there's a communal sense of taking care of your own, like taking care of family, and especially like as people age out, you know, you guys, you know, you bring family in, you guys make it work, you do everything you can to take care of your loved ones, especially when they get older. If there's family members who are struggling, like my wife is Chinese, raised in Cambodia during the killing fields. So when they finally made it to the United States, there's a whole community of other Cambodians that help them. They all help each other, and they still get together and talk about how it was like to live in the camps and how to escape. And families are still close, and they still help one another. And everyone's kind of, it's really neat to see that, because that's something growing up military with a disconnection from my mom's family, because of the fact that she, you know, it was just her family disowned her when she married an American. It was completely different. It was just basically on her own. It was like us, you know, trying to survive. My mom was working. My dad was in other countries on tours, and we were latchkey kids. We kind of raised ourselves. So there's things that I wish would happen for us, but it just, I think it was just kind of one of those situations for being one military and growing up and in my mom's situation, being half Vietnamese, being at that disadvantage, you know, was, but, you know, that said, we met other you know, American military men who married Vietnamese wives on military bases, and we're friends with them to this day. So those ties run deep. I think the only thing I don't like, and I hope I'm allowed to say this, but like, because like, I just wish some of my Vietnamese like people that I meet weren't so scammy, and I don't know why. Not Dustin. Dustin is totally great above board, but like a lot of like Vietnamese I meet are like super scammy, and I'm like, what the heck happened here, man? Like, what? Like, I don't know. Is that playing the stereotype? Is that wrong to say? I'm just like, is that inherent in the culture over there? Because is there something I missed? So everyone's shaking their head, so maybe I'm getting some confirmation here. It's just like, because like,
yeah, you gotta watch your back. You gotta watch your back. Some Asians,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right? They'll rob you blind, man. I'm just like, what is the role of Vietnamese?
Oh, dang. Red is over here saying Vietnamese and Cambodians. Oh, snap. Hey, let me tell you, I've had some bad situations with some Koreans, so you're not out of it either. I'm just telling you. You know,
I think there's bad apples in
everywhere.
Of course.
Not to single anybody out, but I mean, it's just, you know, every I just noticed like a lot of like I'm just very scammy. And
it's easy to take advantage of people that because you think you're fellow, you're from same culture, you're from, you're familiar with them, right? So it's easy to scam you because they could use that your trust. They could use that against you, right?
It could be, or maybe it's because I'm half American. They're like, you had it too good. We were over here and you're over there. You had it too good. Now, like, hey, you can give us an extra $20.
Would you say it's like the younger culture, or is it?
Well, so my mom went back twice when things opened up, and this was in the early '90s. And she told me she brought suitcases of candy and money for everybody, and she was staying with one of her sisters. But it's still kind of communal. Everyone kind of lives all around town, and she went into her room and caught a couple members of the family going through her bags trying to steal money.
Okay.
And she was,
you know what?
Yeah,
I think Korea went through the similar situation right after the war, and it took quite a bit for people to get, because right after the war, people got pretty desperate.
Right? Yeah, I think so.
And so it's like they're right after the war, people are more in a survival mode. I have to survive.
Yeah.
And then the country, after maybe 50 years later, it sort of settled down and
like in her defense, she saved up a lot of her own money. My mom worked extremely hard, and she had some health issues, and she still pushed through that because she knew she was going back, and she gave everybody money proportionate based on their need. And she had told them that if you wanted more, you should have just asked me. I would have just given it to you. And she went and she left very disgusted and said, I'm never going back. And I'm like, what? Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe, I mean, living under communist rule and things being oppressed and not being able to get things, maybe that does create a lot of stuff. But I think hearing that and having my mom experience that from her own family was pretty disheartening, But I mean, you don't, like, I'm saying this and I don't know everyone's full situation here. So maybe they needed more or something, or maybe they had a gambling debt, who knows? So, I don't know. I think that's the thing inherent with being detached from your heritage a little bit, not understanding the nuance of what's going on, and living here in the United States. I mean, I have a very fine appreciation for everything that I'm blessed with and things that I'm given, but I have no point of, I don't know what it's like to struggle like that or to live under communist rule. Because my mom would tell me stories about the Viet Cong and seeing people getting like hung and stabbed and disemboweled on a tree. Just like,
terrible.
Yeah, like, so, I have no basis for that. I mean, I think the craziest things I've seen or experienced is like, someone yell at me because I used the wrong pronoun and I had no idea, so it's kind of disproportionate. So
I've heard of stories about, the boats leaving there.
Dustin was on one of those. Yeah.
Wow.
I heard of like cannibalism.
Whoa.
There's a lot of terrible stories. Yeah.
I think, well, this is his story to tell, so I don't want to spoil, but I can always put you in touch with Dustin if you guys would have him on, if he'd be open to talk about his experience. I don't know, but I know him coming over on a boat was really, really tough. But
Dustin win?
Yeah, Dustin. Yeah, and he had told me that they almost ran out of food. Now, I don't want to tell the full thing because it's not my story to tell, and Dustin is a very private guy. So, but maybe flip that on the other side as a positive. After my mom's excursion back to Vietnam and coming back, her brother Min, who was the youngest, was seeking asylum and was in Malaysia with his wife, and she was pregnant. And they were in Malaysia for almost 8 years trying to get to the United States. And my mom helped facilitate bringing them here with members of the church that actually helped facilitate that. And the thing about that was there's some good and bad with that. I won't mention the bad, but the good with that is within 3 to 4 years, his wife Lee, they had their baby, and they had another one. So they had a boy and a girl, and within 3 years, they both were working. Lee had her own nail business. I know nails. I know very stereotypical Asian Vietnamese thing, but they're very hardworking, very smart. They had a dream of what they wanted to do, and within 3 to 4 years, they had 4 cars, all brand new. They had a brand new home. They were very successful, and it really taught me a very valuable lesson watching this, is because the reason why they were so successful is because they had a dream about what they wanted to do. And I think coming to America and seeing how much opportunity there is, and if you have a dream, the things that you want to do, that anything, it's attainable as long as you're willing to work hard. And if they could do that within 4 years, and this home, their house is like a lot of money. I mean, they built a big house, and they paid mostly with cash. So it's so Asian, right? Pay with cash.
That's a success story in my book. I mean,
yeah, it was like
there's not a lot of opportunities when people come here with very limited English and very limited connections. Without your community, it's hard to really find a way to kind of have roots in this country that lead to success. So, I mean, yeah, kudos.
I mean, you need a support system, and they had that through the Vietnamese church that was there, and then their American sponsors, which is another church. But I mean, they still have problems with the language. But my mom was there to help out, and they had a really good support system. But the thing about it, I think it's really about. I think the thing about it was individual responsibility for them. About like I'm responsible for my family, and I want this success, so this is what I'm willing to do, and I'm willing to make mistakes and learn from it. And really good values. I was very proud of them to see what they've done. I mean, both their kids are college grads too, so this is like in early 2000s.
Wow.
So the kids are out now; they're all grown, and I'm like an old guy now. So, but I think it's. I don't know if we see that type of stuff, those types of stories coming from if you don't have a strong community or a strong sense or a strong team behind you, you know what I mean? Because it is a little overwhelming. It is scary, but if you have people kind of there to support you, and like my mom and my dad were their kind of support system, because I lived with my parents too for a while too. It was a very Asian way to do it, because you have whole families living under one roof, and it was really. And for me, I was in college during this time, so I'd come home and see all this stuff. But it was very uncomfortable for everyone. But everyone kind of knew, like, this is kind of what you do to help people out and kind of get people on their feet. And it wasn't that way when I decided, like, when I graduated, and they're like, yeah, you can't come home at all. And like, what? So they're like, yeah, go succeed, have fun. So, but I mean, but I think they knew that they needed help, and they were there to do it. I think that's great. Yeah. So yeah, we're not trying to say everyone's scummy or scammy or anything like that. Me meeting some of the younger Vietnamese, they're very like, look, I appreciate good hustle culture because I hustle. I think it's more of like kind of just something a little dodgy about it. If you understand what I'm saying, without me being rude, like it's just like, I don't know. Like, yeah.
So, no, I get it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you are one of the most profound names in the industry right now with all the work that you do, and I'm just wondering, do you help younger artists, or what is your how much time do you dedicate to helping people who are maybe less known, trying to get their work more seen and more, I guess, recognized? What do you do with the younger artists or the people that are looking up to you and trying to be the next Jonboy Meyers?
I don't feel like I'm a big name, because like the guys that I looked up to are guys that I were heroes of mine, and I don't feel like I've really arrived at that level. So I'm always trying to do work that kind of is within the same stratosphere. It's kind of like chasing the ghost of what you think greatness is. Maybe that's that Asian thing where you just never feel like, I don't know. But I'm always willing to help out artists, any artist who comes to me and wants to talk to me, and I'll always, I'll do the same things that actually Carl did to me. He will point me in the right direction, give me some encouragement, give you some materials like you should read this, you should read that, do this, and then see what they do with it. Because we're all rich in time, and the thing with time is the most valuable commodity anybody has in this world, because you'll never get it back once it's gone. If you choose to waste your time, that's time that you lose on something else that's really important to you. So most young people I meet, or other artists I meet, who they always like, well, I want to get good, I want to be great, and I'm like, okay, well, cool. Well, I always think back to my uncle and my auntie who came from Vietnam. I'm like, well, what's your dream? Do you have a dream? Do you have some goals? And then, okay, yes or no, like, what are your goals then? And you have to articulate your goals. You have to write down how you plan to get to your goals and who's on your team, and what are you going to do? And the thing about it is I try to always equate it to sports to them. Because the first thing I'll ask them is, well, they'll show me some art, and I'm like, well, how long did it take to you to do this? And oh, I did this in like a week, and it's like maybe one page. I'm like, okay, cool. All right. I said, if you want to be great, this is what greatness is. Greatness is this. Greatness is treating your vocation or that X thing that you want to do like a sport. And what I mean by sport is, I'll give you an example. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was such a great and tremendous basketball and athlete because his seasons never ended. As soon as the pro season was out, and everyone would train, he would train 3 times a day, whereas everyone else would train one time a day. So most guys would come in, they would come in at 12, they would practice to 5, that's it. And they would do that 5 days a week. Well, Kobe would work 7 days a week. He would get up at 5 in the morning, train all the way to 11, eat lunch, take a helicopter down, do his Laker workouts from 12 to 5, eat, do another workout after that from like 6 to 8, 6 to 9, go home, spend some time with the family, and then do it all over again. And what I'm trying to say is, if you're so serious about your craft and you want to get good, you got to spend time getting good at it. It doesn't matter what level you're at. The thing about it is, if you're dedicating yourself to a thing or a principle or an ideal or something that you want to do, and you're practicing hours and hours and hours and hours, pretty soon you're going to get really good. Pretty soon you're going to put in that 10,000 hours where everything's going to start to click. You're going to get better and better and better. You're going to start expanding your repertoire of what you can do and how you're learning and how you approach a page. And the thing about it is, you can't be satisfied when you hit certain levels, because the rule is, if you become the smartest man in the room, you need to find a new room. Because
okay, I'm leaving.
No. You are collectively the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with, whether that's in your life, in your vocation, your personal life, whatever. This is why who your spouse is so important, or who your partner is so important. Because if your partner or spouse is not supportive, you're never going to go anywhere. Because people have a tendency to bring you down to their level. And when you're low, they'll bring you even lower. So you always got to remember, you want people who are on your team who are better than you and smarter than you. And the thing about it is, it's like, if you run a race and you're the smart or the fastest person in your group, you'll win, but you'll never get challenged. But if you run and work with people who are better than you, now you probably never beat them, but your time will be faster. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that is the coin, the quan, or whatever you want to call it, about becoming good at anything that you want to do or chasing a dream. You got to have a dream, and you have to be realistic about, how you plan to attain it. Because the thing is, if you want things to change, you got to change. You can't keep doing the same things and expect a different result. And I meet all these young guys who keep doing the same things and want a different result. But when I'm trying to spend time with them, they don't want to do it. They're like, well, I just keep doing this. And I'm like, well, you may luck into something and you might get a big break, but then you don't have the work ethic to keep you there. You don't have the mindset to keep you there, because the first bump of the road you're going to get, you're going to fold like a girl on prom night. You know what I mean? You don't have what it takes to stick with it. You're just gonna quit. And the thing about it is failure is not a bad thing. Failure is learning to be successful, and just one way that doesn't work. But you keep reapplying your same thing, and you don't give up. You don't quit. You just can't quit on things that you really want to do in this world. And honestly, if my auntie and uncle can come from Vietnam, from a camp for 8 years, have this dream, come to the United States within 3 to 4 years, like, be more successful than my mom ever dreamed of achieving, and having this, and sending 2 kids to college, and paying all in cash for everything, and doing this, and having the American dream. Like, if they can do that, like, man, this, anything that you want to do is attainable. I think it's just your mindset and who's on your team. And if you're in it, and with people who love you, and in a community that will support you, man, that's like half the battle, dude. Like they're, you fail, and like, you might be homeless. Guess what? You'll probably have people in your community or in your family who dust you off, pick you up, and believe in you, and say, well, you can stay with us. They sleep in our garage, sleep on our couch until you make it.
Yeah.
And then that's your feel too. Like, I'm not going to be a burden to my family. I'm going to make it for them. And the thing about it is, usually most of the people who do make it, they try to pull more people up with them.
Mm-hmm.
And
they, like, you either win or you learn a lesson and learn from it.
Right.
I think that's very inspirational. I mean, what you just said is just very inspirational, and everybody has their own definition of what success is, and for those who, like you said, find success early, that's just almost like, you don't want to do that, because you're just kind of ending what you're working for in life early, right? And really living and being present and doing what you love is just a lifelong pursuit. So having that sort of success and dream just be just unattainable or unreachable, and something you're always pursuing is an important, I think, lesson. So
you got to have the maturity, and your why has to be really strong. Like, your why. When I say why, is like, why are you doing this? Who are you doing this for? Are you, what are your reasons for doing this? Like, if your reason to be famous is to meet girls and have accolades and have money, then okay, what's your plan to get there? But those things are very empty once you get there. The thing about it is, to have more nobler, higher aspirations, because you never want to be content once you hit those goals or those certain milestones in your career. You don't want to feel like, I've made it and I'm Joe Cool and I'm the man, because, like, in life, you can have a lot of ups and you can have a lot of downs. Right. And the thing you want to be measured by is who you really are during that. You try to be your genuine, authentic self, and try not to be so wrapped up in, I'm the hot thing in the moment, because even if you're number one, you want to act like you're number two, or number three, because the thing about it is like, it's constantly going up and down. It's like the car ride in the air, right? We were talking about earlier, it's that thing that your why's got to have a stronger reason, just that, because if you have very hollow goals when you hit them, and then you're like, that's it. It's like, well, usually when you have hollow goals like that, you don't have people that want to be there on the ride with you, because it's about you. And when you hit these milestones, you hit them by yourself. Like, success without people to share it with, or to help other people, or to help your family, or do whatever, it's a very very lonely place. There's very so often where we see a lot of our friends, I'm sure, like, Ryan has seen people, a lot of our friends get alcohol or drug addictions, or really struggle, and you don't you don't want that for them, but at the same time, you got to let people kind of figure out their own lives and what they want to do. It's just the thing about this life that we have is you want to learn. You don't want to repeat the same failures. You want to make new mistakes, right? And keep learning. You want to fail up. But if you're still doing the same things and making the same mistakes and you want things to change, I would say you have to change. You have to be a different person. You have to look at yourself in the mirror, take some personal responsibility and say, well, it's not because of my race or my ethnicity or these editors don't like me or something. You have to take personal responsibility to say, you know what, this is what's in my control to do. And if no one is hiring me right now, then guess what? I'm going to put out a Kickstarter. I'm going to do a sketchbook on Kickstarter, or I'm going to do a creator own on Kickstarter. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And you tell yourself that. I've noticed that when you announce these big plans to people, more often than not, you don't follow through. The thing about it is you write that in your journal or write that someplace where you see it every day, like, I'm doing this today. My success depends on me. I need to do this, or this is where I'm going, or this is what I'm doing. And have some people who will hold you accountable to that. Hopefully people who are people you look up to, people who are successful, people who you aspire to become like, and who can hold you accountable and help you push yourself and do the work in order to make those things possible. Because the thing about it is if you're a loser, it's probably because you have friends who are losers. And the thing is, maybe you need to get some new friends, because those friends, if they're not helping you, they're probably hurting you, and they're probably not good for you. And the thing about it is, I'm not saying that you diss your old crew or whatever. It's just like you have seasons for everything. It's just maybe it's time for you to go and be that other person you need to become. And then when you hit some level of success, you can always go back and try to bring them up and give them an opportunity. Sometimes they'll meet the challenge, and sometimes they'll disappoint you. Because like we've all had our friends in our cliques who end up knifing us in the back for whatever opportunity or to get themselves up. And it's just like, it's hard not to be jaded by that, but that's on them. That can be on you. You know what I mean? Because like the reason why I want to help as many people as I can is because I had guys like Carl Potts and Christopher Priest and Bo Smith and Dustin Gwynn and Sonny Lee and Scott Lobdell and all these other guys who really helped me out when they had no reason to. You know what I mean? So, it's I guess the main thing that I'm trying to say is like, on the individual level, if you really want something, you can really go for it. Just, what are you willing to give up in order to get what you want? It may be sleeping 5 hours a day and that's it. But guess what? Those things aren't forever. And the thing is, if you have a community of people behind you, like your family, who have good, strong values, and when you see you succeed, which I see in many Asian families, which is a good thing, even though there's an intense pressure to succeed, even if they don't understand what you're doing and they want you to be a doctor or a scientist instead of an artist, that is fuel for you to try to prove them wrong too. And not to do it to stick it in their face, like in your face, not like that, but you want to say deep down, that they're going to be there for you and they're going to love you and they're going to help you out. Yeah. You're not going to see you go homeless. I don't think any family would probably want to see that for their kids, especially if they're trying to do something positive. So
I think it was Ted Turner said that his dad, I think his dad told him to like set a goal that you'll never achieve, because I guess the father had set a goal of like, I want $1 million and a boat, and then he got it, and then he was like, I got it, and I was kind of stuck because I got what I wanted. I reached my goal, but it's like, setting the goal like so high that you probably never reach it. Yeah. It's that big, right?
What's up, John Boy? How are you?
What's up, buddy? Man? Love you, man. I'm glad we were talking about your illustrious hair.
And I have it up. See, we have to showcase Katie, like my hair nemesis up there. We have to showcase her hair tonight. It's okay because it's about you, John Boy. It's not about.
No. It's always good to share. Share, but back to Ryan's point, it's kind of like that's a thing. It's just like getting the toys are really cool. Those things really aren't. I mean, they're great to have, right? They're great to have, but it just. If you have no one to share that with, it kind of puts the FU in fun. You're just like, well, you're partying by yourself. There's something about you that you have to look at and say that you need to change. You need bigger, higher goals, because the thing about it is like, what I liked about what Jim Lee did was that he brought in, when he established himself, he wanted to bring a studio in to teach a bunch of young guys who he thought had talent to bring them up, and you were one of those guys. And I think Dustin was one of those guys. It's such an amazing story. And to have someone like that create a studio where he's kind of like teaching talent and passing it on. You guys are, when you look at it, in essence, you guys are kind of like his children,
Yeah.
In a sense. Because like I had the same conversation with Larry Hama. I was right next to him at El Paso Comic Con.
Wow.
Yeah, I was such a fanboy, and he was so gracious because I took him to breakfast and I took him to dinner several times, and I was just telling like how much his stuff meant to me as a kid growing up military, and I would ride my bike all around base just to find back issues of G.I. Joe, because when they're like 7-Elevens, when an issue would come in, you don't know if you're going to get the next issue to continue the story. So I didn't know which shop that next issue was going to come in. So I was always riding around. But like, his work and the things that he's done like made a huge impact on me, and it was military. So it was stuff that I could identify with. And it was a wide, diverse range of characters. They were Asian characters and Black characters and Hawaiian characters. And it was
Japanese, Hawaiian.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Jonboy, so you're talking about the G.I. Joe series. Yes. Did you see the Kickstarter that I think Image started?
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, and it has all of the back issues, every single one of them. What does that say to you as a collector? Like, because I know you're not just an artist, you're a collector too.
I am, but I have no room for stuff like that, and I've got most of the single issues anyway. So there's like no shelf space in my room. Like, this is why I got it blurred too, because it looks like a bomb just died in my room. There's like paper and books everywhere. I have to clean up. I've just been so busy, but it's really cool to like. I can't really describe it, what it's like to enjoy someone's work as a kid, have these ideas and these dreams of working in the same industry, and then meeting people and getting to know them and spend time with them, and they're so humbled and excited that you're really, like it's kind of, and then his stuff, and then me sharing my stories about what it meant to me and what I did in order to like find those books and everything. And I had all the toys and everything, and I was telling him how much I hated Cobra Law, and like I didn't understand it. I'm okay with it now, but I mean, like when you look back on your life, and like we are his kids too, right? He inspired us, but that's the things that you leave behind, and to be able to give back to a community, whether it's your own community or a comic community or something like that, and leave it a lot better than you found it, and have this legacy of stuff that you've done is really like, that's a form of immortality that will never disappear, because that will continue to inspire more people as your work lives on. Because it would be really great if somebody, some kids going through his dad's, this is when I'm like years down the road, I'm dead and buried or whatever, some kid's flipping through his dad's collection and finds my work and just falls in love with my work, and like, who's this Jonboy guy? Oh wow, I like his work, and oh wow, he does some stories now, blah blah blah. Wow, that would be really cool. Right?
Can I jump in here real fast?
Yeah.
You're talking the talk right now. You're just saying, be good to people, be good to everyone, help bring people up, help help the next person out. You're talking the talk. But I want to share a story about you actually walking the walk, where you actually helped out one of our guys with his business. So this was a few years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't recall doing this, but okay, that's cool.
Trust me, you did something. So Luke, you remember Luke from the C-List Villains podcast? He was our co-host. It was Red and Mine's co-host, and he was starting to get his comic book store up. Like, it was going to be online, and he was just working on stuff like that. And that first meeting that we had, we had such a good connection. You were like, "Look, let me help you out. Let me help you out, Luke.
It's Luke.
It was Luke.
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 Yeah.
So
Skywalker.
Jonboy, So Jonboy was so kind. He was like, you know what? I can't give you money out of my pocket, but I'm going to give you something in hopes that it'll turn into something, for the good of you. And so he donated, Jonboy, out of the goodness of his heart, to help out someone. He donated some books from his collection, and he knew that Luke was going to turn around and sell them, and of course, Luke didn't sell them at like an exorbitant price. He wasn't trying to get, he was just like, hey, you know what, let me just get some, using that money, some of that money that he got from Jonboy's books that Jonboy knew that he was going to sell for the business. He actually had enough money to start his little online business. So Jonboy, knowing that Luke needed a little bit of a push, a little bit of a help, he's like, I got something for you. Here you go. And Jonboy is I've seen firsthand that everything that he talks about bringing up the next person, helping that next person out, helping them, get to that next level. I saw it firsthand. I saw like his words really meant that much, and he actually helped out a lot. And to this day, like, I know Luke is gonna say thank you, and on behalf of Luke, Jonboy, to this day, still thank you so much for doing that. Like, I know Luke appreciate it.
Yeah, like it's kind of weird because when you look at something like it's such a small thing to do, right? And it's like, well, it's like 10 or 20 comics out of my collection, or no big deal. I can sign them and send them off, and it's a very small thing to do. But when you're doing that and you're doing something like seed money to help somebody out or things like that, you're helping people feel like, oh wow, I can do this. Like, oh well, this will help me make my sales. This will help me do this. It's really like doing even just small things and just trying to help people out and trying to push things along and help people, because like I've had those things too where people help me, like again, I would not be where I'm at if I weren't, if it weren't for guys like Carl and stuff who helped me out. Like, and the thing about it is, it's not their responsibility to remind me; it's my responsibility to remember. It's my responsibility to pay that forward, because it's just like, well, what type of person would I be? Like, I'm not that type of guy. Like, as soon as I make it, I pull the ladder up. I ain't help nobody. Like, suckers, like you can't. You don't want to live your life that, because at the end of the day, man, like all you got is you go into this world naked, and you're gonna die naked, man. And I'm not gonna be lying on my bed like looking to draw one more funny picture. I want to be around with people I care about and people I've helped, and I want to know that I did some good in this world. I help people out. Like that's what's important to me, because like I love to live comfortably, don't get me wrong. Like, I love a boat. I'd like a Ted Turner boat, but I mean, that's not my priority. My priority is to try to take care of my family, and that's my why, and be successful. And if I get those other fruits by doing that, then that's great. But I want to try to help people as much as I can on the way up. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it does sting when people disappoint you or screw you over, but you can't let that stop you from trying to do things and help people, because at the end of the day, it's just like, again, I believe in that personal responsibility thing. If people are then that's going to come back to them. You kind of give what you get. You get what you give, So, at some point, if people were doing that to you, they're probably kind of douchebags in real life anyway. So they're probably not being real or authentic with you. So, yeah, something to think about. But I was always happy to help Luke out. Like, and I hope his store is still going great and going strong, because I know for me, there's also like, I work in the comic business, and I personally don't want to see stores close, because that marginalizes what I do for a living too, because you have no idea how many people that shop services in some way. And there's a ripple effect. And kids might say, well, I kind of, the shop closed, I can't buy this, so maybe I'll do sports instead, or do whatever. Who knows? Maybe they wanted to be an artist, but then that kind of dried up. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Can I show something off, you guys? I want to show something off here.
Yeah.
there's something that I've been doing for a while since I got this book right here, and I've been collecting jam pieces. I've been collecting head sketches from people around. Yeah. And I saw Jonboy at Fan Expo San Francisco last year. Katie making big. I want to show this one off. And Jonboy was like, "Hey man, yeah, I got this. Here, let me just take it home. Let me draw on it, and then I'll send it back to you." And Jonboy, through the goodness of his heart, he went and hooked it up with this Jetfire jam.
Oh
yeah, but you know the hard part of that when I look at that, you look at Dave Quintana's on the top, it's so much better, man.
No, we're not looking at Dan Quintana's. We're looking at Jonboy.
Right? Dan's great. Is it Dan? I'm sorry, not Dave.
Yeah,
Dan.
Dan.
Like, oh man, it's like
Dan. That's look. Compare this though, you guys. Like compare this. This is Jonboy, and this is John Romita Jr. I mean.
Yeah, he went all out.
Well, like JR is really cool dude though, man. You know.
Oh, he was.
He was probably like, oh man. Yeah, all right, do another quickie for you.
That's Rose Besh, but
Rose is great. I love Rose. She's awesome.
We love Rose. We just met her over the weekend at Short Box, and we're doing our best. I don't know, Jonboy, if you can help us out.
Short Box, is that here in the Bay Area?
Yeah. Short Box was another small con that happened at Santa Clara, and it is here in the Bay. It's real small, but it focuses all on comic books. So it's mostly comic books, a few panels, and some artists. But it's not like over the top like Fan Expo SF where they have all of the all the cosplayers and all the anime stuff and whatnot. It's just
I'm local. Did I like piss somebody off who runs that? Like I just like, dude, I'm
definitely
like, right here.
We're close to Gene. We have a relationship with Gene of Short Box. Jonboy will go ahead and literally we'll be your people and we'll contact his people.
If he wants to help me, if not, I don't look at a guy like, hey, I would like it too.
We'll see what we can do. I'm pretty sure.
If you'd love to have me, I'd love to go. I mean, it's local, and it's kind of like, well.
It's right down the street from you too. I don't know exactly where Jonboy lives. Hold on, I know it's close.
I'm by the Apple spaceship, so yeah, I'm not too far from that. So, but even if it's Sacramento, because like my wife's like, "Oh, you're traveling again?" It's like, yeah,
but it's not that far.
No, it's not that far. So she'd be like, "Oh, this is great. Let's all go." I'm like, "Yeah, perfect." So,
speaking about cons, Jonboy, any cons coming up? We're going into the second half of 2024. Are there any cons that anybody else can see you at?
Yeah, I'm doing. What am I doing? I'm doing Fan Expo Dallas, which I'm now we're launching our. I did my own retailer cover for Transformers, so that's coming out in Dallas.
I'm sorry, say those words one more time, and when can I get all of those copies?
Oh yes, it's I'll send you images. So it's my own variant for Transformers 7, which
wow.
I know the book already came out, but we're launching it. I'm launching with some guys I know, Davis Ryder and Comic Tom and whatnot. We're going to launch it there in Dallas, and Fan Expo is going to have copies too, and it's going to be, I think, limited 100 each of each cover. There's an A and B, so super limited.
So, you have two covers for Transformer 7?
Yes, two. There's an A and B. So,
I'll go ahead. I'll shoot
you. Are those images out, or are you?
So right before the show started, someone sent me a message like, "Dude, when did you do a Transformers cover?" I'm like, "Dude, where did you find this at?" They're like, "Oh, some guy's selling them on eBay," and I'm like, "How can that be? That's my cover." Like,
right.
What? So, if Davis Ryder eats too much Taco Bell, he does love Taco Bell, but. So I sent them an email like, "Hey, this is my cover. How did you get this, and why are you selling this? Like this should be my cover. Like no one should be selling this at all." So I emailed like, "Can you take your listing down? Because like I gotta reach out to Skybound and Image. Like, how did this happen? How is this person? How is this retailer online selling my comic online?" When it's my comic and I haven't even released it myself, like what's going on? So
shenanigans.
Does that happen more often than not?
Well, Image gets comps in all the time, and I don't know if they give them to shops or not, but that is a possibility. And if that were, I understand that, but it would be nice if they just gave me no, it's not Big Clutch. No.
That sounds really scammy.
It does sound a little scammy because it's like it's your own book, and it's like, why is people making money off this? So, because I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, because like my partners now are going to be like, hey, what the hell, man? Are you selling this early? Like, that's not a good look for me. So, But
Well,
I'm sure it's probably
why-
something connected.
That's one thing I want to understand. Why would it be a bad look for you? And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to speak, I'm not trying to be devil's advocate here or anything, but would it be a bad look on them for getting their hands on it and selling it before they're supposed to? They're breaking,
They're not. So the partners I'm doing, like Davis and Tom, I haven't shipped them their books yet. So I'm actually doing that next week. So whoever this retailer is who got their hands on this book, I'm kind of like,
what the
who
hell
are you? How did you get these? But Skybound does, and Image does send certain retailers, comps and things like that. So I'm sure that happened. It kind of sucks for me then, because I'm doing a product launch, and if someone else is already selling product, it's not good for business. And it plus it's my own book. I'm like, hey, maybe don't do that. But they don't know. Whoever, we'll see what it is, because it's. Knowing my luck, it's probably a shop that I know, and they got it from somebody that they know, and I'm cool with. And I'm like, all right.
So did they actually have the book, or did they do like what people do when they know exclusives coming out and just like, oh, hey, we have books that are coming out, and just post like a picture type thing?
No, they have the images online. If you go to eBay and type in Jonboy Meyers Transformer 7, it'll come right up. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because a lot of people do that on like eBay. They'll know a cover is coming out in like 2 months or whatever, but they don't have the book, but they'll post the image on there that they found from your website. You go, we're selling this
post
now.
This on the website. This is the actual comic. That's.
I'm not contributing to this shenanigans. I'm going to wait for Jonboy to go ahead and announce it first.
Well, I think. Look, I'm not. Look, first and foremost, everyone's got to eat. Everyone's got to make money, and it's a shop. If it's a shop that needs to make money to survive, I get it. For me, I'm disappointed. I just wish people would have just told me, like, hey, we know this is your retailer variant, but we sent a couple copies. Either somebody at a company or Image or Skybound, it would be nice to let me know, give me a heads up, like, hey, we sent like 50 copies out to retailers that we're cool with.
Gotcha.
Just so you know. So I'm not like, oh, surprise, and like, what?
Yeah.
That's but I mean, just a heads up, like, it's always good to do that. It's like like you kind of paid. I paid for it. I'm just making sure. Gotcha. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, the set. There you go.
Again, I'm not going to contribute to it. I'm going to wait for John.
No, it's okay.
going to be on his.
Honestly, I think you're still supporting comics and supporting comic shops. It's just.
Okay, now I'm looking.
Rose.
Now I'm looking.
You didn't have to twist his arm too much.
He said, "Okay." Like
he's already got it.
Rose
he's already got it.
All right, that makes sense, because the owner of Rose City, their partner works for Image, so that's probably how they got that.
Okay.
I wish I would have known that before I sent that strongly worded email.
Oh, snap. Okay. It's okay. They probably weren't watching.
What other cons is coming up for you, Jonboy?
Oh, I'm doing a lot of the Fan Expo shows. I'm doing Fan Expo Dallas, Fan Expo Boston, and Fan Expo Denver. What else am I doing? Doing San Diego Comic-Con. I'm going to try to do Lightbox if I can get in. I think they open up for new vendors or new exhibitors on the 15th. So I'm going to apply and like, hey, I'd love to have a table here, which is in Pasadena, and that's really big on games and comics and artists. There's a lot of great artists there. And then I'm doing Fan Expo San Francisco, and hopefully I'll see you guys there.
If you need help setting up, I'll have Red go ahead and.
Are you guys going to come?
We've been going every year for the last 2 years, and it seems like it's tradition for us now. So
it was so clean this year, so it was nice. There's no poop or anything. So
you're right, but remember this. But we also here in San Francisco last year, you guys, we had literally all of the world leaders convey onto San Francisco last year. So we had Biden, we had Xi, we had like all of the big world. So they cleaned up San Francisco, and Fan Expo happened only a few weeks after PAC, which is what it was called. So yeah, it was super clean. There was no bums. There was no
users, no nothing.
Yeah. And here's the thing: to this day, like I literally work like a few blocks away from the convention center. Still pretty clean. It hasn't really gone back. So it's really cleaned up there. But it sucks because the stores are closing.
Well, they just raised the minimum wage, but then when you raise the minimum wage, then it changes the taxes, and then costs go up, and then
or they automate and get a robot to flip burgers.
I mean, eventually it's getting there. It's getting there. Hey, Jonboy, there's a question from Figure Drawing. Do you do con sketches?
I do. I am grossly behind on the sketches I've taken at shows, so I need to catch up. I've just got a lot going on, so. So that's another thing. When you start getting busy, you want to say yes to everything. And my wife's just looking at me like, you have no time. No, I can do it. And there is no time. So
do you prefer people to, if they're doing a commission, to approach you at cons or approach you before you get to a con, like online?
Yeah, I think at cons are great. And usually I try to tell people like, hey, I'm not going to get to this right away. It might be anywhere from like 30 to 90 days. Usually I try not to let it go past 90 days. So I was like, if you're cool with that, we can do it. But I Oh, yes. Yeah, I did throw away a sketch. So, I don't like it. I'll throw it away. I've got a backlog, so I gotta catch up. So I don't think I'm gonna take any more new ones until I catch up on these. I think I've got like 5. I have 5 or 6 I have to finish. So I want to get those guys taken care of, so they don't want to like kill me. And then I'd maybe open up some more. So
let me ask you this. Let me get it to this right here. So we know about the Transformers 7 cover. Are there any other covers that you can share with us that are coming out, or are we NDA facing this right here?
You mean like this one right here, where he has a Kickstarter, where he has a variant covers for Steamroller Man?
Sweet.
What?
Oh yeah, for Steamroller Man. That's right. Yeah, that's right. My buddy Matt, who's a director and storyboard artist on The Simpsons, is launching his own book called Steamroller Man. So definitely pick that up. You can buy my cover. It would be great, and I would sign it for free for you if you want to see it. There's no charge on that. So just bring by the show, and I'll take care of it. Really, really cool book. Really wacky book. So. You guys want to support that? I'm sure Matt would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. It's always good to support indie creators and get their visions out, especially people I know. So, because after I did that cover, I had a flood of indie creators like, "Hey, I'm an indie creator. Will you help me out?" I'm like, dude, there is no remark option from me because I owe people commissions. So if it shows up, then yes, of course, I could do that. Yeah, I mean, I'm so pressed with time and things like that. It's just like, I'm glad you guys like the Transformers cover. Like, hey, spoilers, it looks cool.
I'm a Transformers dork, so anything you do, Jonboy, that's between you and other friends. We're not going to mention other names.
John did a great number 7 cover too.
Yeah, so. John Jang was. I was going to say that. You and John and any one of you guys, if you guys come out with the Transformers, I'm all over it. Like I'm buying every single.
I love Transformers. I love G.I. Joe, so I'm doing covers on both. So
Are you actually reading the current the run? Not trying to put you on the spot, but are you reading the current run?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic.
On both. So I love what they're doing. I love that they're tying the universes more. It actually made me love Cobra Law because I really hated Cobra Law. Like with passion. I was like, oh, I freaking hate this. So,
I'm not much to the bad guys. I've always been a good guy kind of a guy, like, oh, to hell with the bad guys. But Cobra Law in the 80s were really badass. I loved Nemesis Enforcer. Just his name was dope. Globulus was awesome. I love them. And what they're doing in the comics right now is actually really, really dope.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about that. So, but what I will say is, yes, I do like it. I didn't like a thing. I just felt like it jumped the shark. Because, like, for me, G.I. Joe was always about, like, but I mean, this is when terrorism started popping up. So they're like, maybe we need to do something different here, right? So,
getting too real.
It was getting too real, so they moved it into space, and then they give you mutants, which is basically Cobra Law.
Yeah.
And then I kind of hated, because then talking with Larry, they were originally supposed to kill Duke in the G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah.
But then it didn't go well when they killed Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
So they didn't. They're like, oh.
So going into that, in the G.I. Joe movie, you actually do see how Duke was going to die. So, spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't seen the original cartoon.
Snake to the heart.
Snake to the heart, exactly. And he should have died, but then like later on in the episode, you see that the wound is a little bit lower and a little offset, and we're like, wait a minute, it hit his heart. What's going on here? But yeah, it is the same thing because of what happened to Optimus.
What did Serpentor do to make that snake so straight? It makes you wonder. You're just like, that's not right. Animal abuse.
He tickled him in a very erotic way.
I don't know. It's just,
he got him really excited.
This is stuff you can get away with in cartoons, but like I know for us, watching the death of Optimus Prime was probably the single most freaked out thing for me, because like when I saw it, I was just like,
yeah. It was the worst movie experience. You come out of there like, what did they do?
See a bunch of like
hell-year-olds
crying.
You're 10 years old crying over a cartoon, and you're like, but you don't understand.
This is so cool. I like Duke. Like Optimus Prime is like here. Duke is like here, and Duke is cool, but like Optimus Prime is like, yeah, man.
Okay, let's ask some question. Let's answer some questions.
Oh yes, of course.
We have some patient here.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been some questions that were way up in the chat as well, so I saved them.
I'll go up to
go back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you do it. Okay, Pop, go ahead.
Well, first I want to say Psychotron was in here earlier, and he said that Jonboy was the nicest artist ever at MegaCon. And he messed up and brought the wrong cover for his Venom book, so he gave you a signed print. He'll never forget it.
I know.
That's very nice of you.
I don't like people walking away. I've done that too. I'm like, oh, like I think I did that with. Who did I do that with? It was really embarrassing because it was a friend of mine. I'm like, oh, he was like, dude, I did it. I'm like, oh yeah, you did. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man. Because I'll sign it anyway. He signed it anyway. Maybe it was Winston. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, no worries, man. Happy to do it, dude. Don't want to see you guys walk away empty-handed. So. Yeah. No worries.
I know he had a really good MegaCon, and he's talked about it many times since he got back from there last year, and I know it made his absolute day when he was talking about this. And Figure wants to know, who are your favorite comic cover artists?
Oh, I think my favorite artists in general right now, like I'll always have my five guys who I'm always fans of, which is Michael Golden, Arthur Adams, Jason Pearson, J. Scott Campbell, and Joe Madureira are my guys. So, like anytime they do something, I'll pick it up just because I'm a fan. And then cover artists today, there's so many good ones. I would say probably anything Dan Mora does is pretty amazing. Dan is a machine. Stuart Amonin is great. Travis Charest, when Travis does covers, is awesome.
His run with the Wildcats is amazing. And they're Travis Charest and Richard Fred are my second favorite pencil inkler team.
Oh, yeah. Well, Richard, if you go to Richard Friend's Facebook page, he has a lot of single stuff, illustration stuff that he's doing.
Blaster Kid. Get me for that.
Yeah, it falls on. Like it's
you said Dan Mora. I loved Once in Feature. Like his interior work in Once in Feature was. It reminded me of like '90s image art.
I was sad to see it end. Like it's like capped, and I'm like, but I mean, it's like, hey man, I can work on Superman, Batman, and Shazam, and 20 other titles that I can draw a month, and it's just like, I honestly, I'm studying his work right now, and I'm trying to crack what his secret is, like as far as how does he churn out so many so fast? Because like he can do 2 issues a month, and I'm almost like, all right, what am I?
What about you, Jonboy? You want to do interior work too?
Oh yeah, I want to go back to interiors. I'm working on a creator-owned thing that I'm trying to
Princess something.
Yeah, Princess Dragon Killer. I'm still working on it. So, I'm still working on it, sadly. So this is the funny thing about working on your own thing. So you work on it for a little bit, and you're like so dedicated, and then you run out of money, and you're just like, and then these other projects come up, like, do you want to do Transformers? And you're like, Yes. So, like, there's a tendency to disappear in a box. And Odie, you probably, Ryan, you know what I'm talking about, where you're working on your own thing. And then if you get these offers, you don't want people to forget you.
Yeah.
Because like people kind of move on rather quick, and I get it. And there's
I never stopped hearing from NammaN. He keeps on asking about my second issue, Shadow Zone.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't forgotten. I'm not one of those people who forgets.
You gotta. The thing is, you don't want to disappear, but you also want to remind people, like, "Hey, I'm still here. I'm still alive. Don't forget about me." But at the same time, though, like, there is such a thing as absence and disappearing for like 6 months and then coming back and dropping bombs. And the thing is, you got to make sure that you're actually dropping bombs and not poop bombs, but like really cool bombs. Where they're like, "Oh, this is really great. Like, this is awesome. This is why you disappeared for so long." And getting back into a mindset of doing interiors versus covers, it's two different type of thinking too, because when you're doing covers, it's kind of like one shot, one kill, and you want to say everything about that character in kind of one image, and the bar is so high because there's so many good guys out there. You really want to make sure you get it right. Whereas versus comics, there's a lot of series of drawings, but also there's also you don't want to be forgettable either, right? But there's also a lot of nuance between the panels, so you want to make sure you set up your shots where people are engaged with it, where they're kind of filling in the story for you as you're drawing it.
We here's another question for you, Jonboy. Otherwise, Comic Journey is going to explode if I ask this. Okay, so he wants to know: does Jonboy charge extra for his signature when somebody buys a book directly from him?
No.
At a con.
Okay, so if you buy a book from me at a con, all the books are already signed. If they're not signed, they will come signed. There's no charge for that. So if you buy a book from me and you want to CGC it, there's no charge for me to do that. But if you bring me a book, because like my agent's right there, she'll be
AKA your wife?
Yeah, AKA my wife. So and there's like a $10 charge for raw books, and then if you want CGC, it's usually $25. But if it's a low variant book or like a 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 250 or something like that, then it's like $50. So this is why it's always. Well, I'm not a smart businessman. My wife is a smart one. Like for me, I'm like, yeah, I'll sign it for free. She's the one that's like, hey, we need to monetize. But if you buy stuff on my site from me and you want it signed, there's no charge to sign it for free. But if you want it CGC, it's $50 because there's a lot of paperwork that we have to do with it.
But doesn't typically CGC do all the paperwork for people though? Isn't it? Or are they asking you to submit for them? I don't know.
So the process is a little different. So if you want me to submit a book from my site, you have to have your own. You have to have your own account number first, and then I have to send you a job form because they're doing everything digitally now, which is a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you a digital job form, and then you send it back to me. You can't do it. My wife's going to see that.
Sicko, stop putting him on the spot like that. You get him in trouble.
You can't. Don't do me like that. So I send them the job form. They send it back, and then send it to my agent. It still goes to the same email address, but she'll coordinate all that, and she'll print everything out. Then she has me sign my stuff, my artist stuff, saying this is official me, blah 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 blah, and then we ship it directly to CGC for you. So there's a lot of paperwork involved and things like that, and keeping it all together because they need all that paperwork together. And if they don't, then you get the dreaded green label, and nobody wants a green label because you might as well just burn your book at that point. Everyone wants the yellow label, because if you get a green label, where it's called a non-verified signature, which really sucks, right? Because then it's like, oh, it could be bootleg, it could not be, and it's just nobody wants green labels unless it's like a key book. That's like Stan Lee signed it, or like Herb Trimp signed it, like Hulk 181 or something like that. Then it's okay, but. Usually most people want the yellow label if they're getting books signed, which I get. Like I do too. I'm the same way, But I mean, like, if you get a green label book, it depends what the book is. Otherwise, it is kind of a scab book, and you try to dump it as fast as
Let's go back to let me do this. Let's go back to a little bit of traveling here, Jonboy. So we got cons all over the nation. What's the one con that you what's the one con that you want to? Let me say this again. What's the one con that you're really looking forward to, but not just because of the con, but it's because of the food culture, because of the beer, because of the drinks, because of the coffee. What's the one con where you want to go to just because of the food?
Like San Diego, probably, because there's a special place in my heart for San Diego. I've been going to that show since I was 16, so I try to go every year. Yeah, it just there's something about I've seen it grow. I've seen it go from like really janky, like DIY, like we had the little paper badges with a little plastic holder and you slide it in. And sometimes if it falls out, then you go get another one. And that was your badge to get in. There wasn't any lanyards. There wasn't anything like that. They'd look you up on the index cards. Artist Alley used to be huge, and they would bring hamburgers around and sodas to give to the artists from McDonald's. It was amazing. And then it started changing. But I mean, San Diego has always has a certain charm for me. Always going back because it kind of rekindles my love and my passion for comics, and I get to meet and see pros that I only see like maybe once a year. Like I think Ryan, that's probably the only show I see, man. We'll catch up for like half a second. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He goes, hey, what's up? I got to go to my table. I'm like, oh, all right.
Jonboy, we don't have the best food. I want you to come to Baltimore because that's where I'm near. Okay.
Lies. Baltimore has excellent food.
I've heard really good things about it. If I got an invite to go, I would love to come. But like, I'm not one of those guys who are like, who like email a show and like. I only did that once, which was Wozniak's show when he bought Big Wow. And I am like, you know what? I'd love to come. I'm like, hey, look, I'm a comic book artist. I've done this. I've worked in comics for like, since the dawn of time. And I'd love to come. And, would it be possible to come to your show? And they sent me a form letter back. Like, yes, tables are $1,000. I'm like, all right. Like, you know what? I'm never going to ask again. If I get invited, I'll probably go. If I don't, then I won't.
Well, here's a shout out to the fans. If you guys want him at a con, go hit up the con and tag him in and go bring him here. And then, that's a better way for you.
Let them know, like, hey, this guy is local. It'd be really cheap for you to bring him here. Yeah. You wouldn't have to pay for a hotel. You just like give him a table. I'll show up.
Or a hamburger.
Jonboy, you mentioned. So I mean, the cons are a grind, and it takes a lot of just commitment and energy to just get through the circuit, right? So yes. What keeps you like motivated and focused on just hitting the con circuit and getting through the grind?
I live in the Bay Area, so like making extra show money is always good to kind of like keep my creator own going and not be a burden to my wife, which is always a plus because you want to feel like somewhat of a man that you're contributing. But I like meeting people and I like seeing my friends and seeing artists whose work I love and respect and talk to them and just tell them how much their work means to me and make a fool out of myself. That's always good. But I like meeting people and I like the energy of shows and talking to people. And it's kind of weird. Like you'll meet people and everybody has a story and it's kind of interesting to kind of like hear everyone's secret origin, like talking to Larry, what his secret origin was, Larry Hama, and how he got started and the things he's done. Like Larry, you should have Larry on here. He's got some great stories, man. Like crazy stories, like crazy New York, working in New York at Marvel. Like he will gladly tell you them. They're pretty bananas. I like being able to connect with people. There is something to be said about doing the same shows all the time because I've always noticed too that people kind of take you for granted. Like, I saw him last year. I don't want to see him this year. Sometimes it's always good to kind of skip a show a little bit and come back like maybe year after year. San Diego is the only one I do consistently every time, and WonderCon because I love LA shows because that is an opportunity for me to go to Southern California and visit my wife's family and see how they're doing. And they're a very big Chinese Cambodian family. I love the death. I love seeing them. They're really good people. It's always good to go in there and say hi. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna go, K-pop? You wanna go ahead and finish out the chat?
Yeah,
portion?
hang on one second. Let me add this person real quick.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was Jack.
No, it's not.
You're
No,
good.
you're good.
We've been interfering, so
We need you to talk more. So while K-pop's doing that real fast, then right after San Diego Comic Con and you're ready to get something to eat, Jonboy, what's the one restaurant or one spot that you go to right afterwards?
Mick and Louie's is usually at San Diego all the time. Mick and Louie's is really great. Fresh seafood. Yeah, it was great seeing you at WonderCon. Yeah, it's always a good crowd. I'm always thankful for people at my table too. This is like thankful, right? But yeah. Oh yeah, like if you are interested in meeting other pros, usually going to San Diego is the best. Because we all need to eat and go to the local watering holes. I think the old party used to be at Manchester Grand Hyatt. It's now at the Hyatt Bayfront. So if you guys go to the lobby, like there'll be dozens of pros sitting there drinking alcoholic beverages and making bad decisions and talking about.
Oh wow!
Yes.
That's good info. That is good info.
That's what I want to try to do. You know, try to make it to these cons and see where are they going afterwards. And just
usually it's the Hyatt Bayfront is usually the used to be the Manchester Grand, but now it's the Bayfront. Oh man, I like the food in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Come on, CJ.
One place in San Diego I've been wanting to go to, but I know it's always
Mertz is great. I love soul food, man.
Tacos del Gordo.
What's that?
Tacos del Gordo in San Diego. I've been wanting to go there, but I know it's always busy.
I wonder if that's the place that Tony Washington and his wife Gia took us to. Maybe. And we ate there, and we ate like $300 worth of like Mexican food.
Oh my god!
I know that because I paid because we had margaritas and all.
So easy to do, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was it was a lot of fun. But I love Mexican food though too. I love all food. It's just like
food is delicious. Yes.
The older you get, you kind of have to watch the waistline. So the more carbs, it's like
And then on top of that, the carne asada fries in San Diego is like second to none. It beats.
Which one? What's that?
Carne asada fries.
Yeah.
Nacho fries. Yeah. Dude,
that sounds good, but that sounds so bad, man.
It's like a one-hitter quitter for sure. Like you need two to four people to help you finish one of those things for sure.
I don't know.
Ryan knows. He knows.
I get pretty hungry. Like usually I put on like 5 to 10 pounds after every show. And I'm like, oh, all right, I gotta lose this. Like, you don't want to be one of those artists. Like we've had a lot of artist friends kind of drop off too. So it's been pretty tough. So you always kind of want to take care of yourself as much as possible. So
yeah.
So this is digress to like food and cons. I'm like, I was talking about, yeah. Honestly, I think if you're a budding writer or artist, it's always feedback is an incredibly great tool for you to get some honest feedback on your work. It's really hard to do with writers. Because you actually have to read it, and sometimes you want to kind of limit what you're submitting to like maybe 5 to 7 pages. Same with artists, take a boring scene and make it interesting, but you can get some direct feedback. And the thing about it is this: like when I first broke in, I broke in and did work for these guys who had a company called Funkatron. And they published like Battle Pope and Brit and stuff like that. Those guys were Tony Moore and Robert Kirkman. So a lot of my first stuff was with Tony and Robert, and just trying to get my, and there was all free work, and I would do free covers for everybody I could just to kind of cut my teeth. Because I knew that at some point I'll get my break. I just got to get some credits underneath my name and kind of work on my craft. And because like starting out, no one is good out the box. No matter how great you are. There are levels of finished work, but everyone's first work is pretty horrible. Some more than others. Like mine was pretty terrible. Thankfully, I'm a better artist now. Hopefully, I continue to get better. But I always recommend people going to shows and getting feedback and meeting people. And again, too, this is where you can find your support system, because if you don't have a good support system of 5 people you daily interact with in person, maybe online, that you can get personal feedback. And it doesn't have to be a pro. It can just be other people whose work you respect who are trying to break in just like you. You can help each other out. You can talk to one another. If someone figures something out, you can share it too. It's like, oh, well, I learned this thing here, so let me share it with you. I learned like blah 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 blah. You know, like I learned this new thing with this digital brush. Let me show you. You know, that's another good thing about being in the studio, because Ryan can attest to how much he leveled up when he was at Wildstorm. You know, you probably leveled up in half the time. You know, whatever took you 5 years ago, you probably learned in 2, because it's like a boot camp, and the pressure to succeed is intense. You talk about Asian pressure at home to succeed. This is even worse. You know what I mean? Because it's a pressure cooker, and you're judged by how good you do something. And if you do it badly, you're going to know right away. You're like, oh, that guy sucks. And you're just like, oh.
I remember a Wildstorm meeting. We had a Wildstorm meeting with all the artists.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, they just kind of like put all these kind of, you know, this is how much work you've done or whatever. And then mine was like, I was just starting out, like learning how to draw comics, but mine was like way down next to like Richard Bennett and Speed or something. Like, oh my God, I'm like so slow. I mean, Richard Bennett like put so much detail in his artwork, but I'm like, I gotta like step up.
It's really like a penis measuring contest at that point. Like, okay,
you never know, because everybody's just going on their own, and then once they put it, you know, right in front of you, you're like, oh shit.
Well, that's the thing though. Is competition can be a motivator for you to step up your game, because then it reevaluates your priorities. This is why it's like your why and the amount of hours you put into your craft. Because if you saw somebody who is a top performer in your studio and you figured out their work ethic, you know, talent only gets you so far. It's really about your work ethic, and some people pick things up a lot faster, and I understand that, but it always boils down to work ethic at most. And if you're seeing guys who are top performers who are there before you, and then they're there after you leave, then you should like, okay, like I need to reevaluate my life choices. Maybe if I'm really serious about this comic thing, I need to work a lot later and work a lot harder, because he's more talented than I am. So I need to work twice as hard. So for every 1 page he does, I should have a goal of doing 2 or a page and a half. And trying to make that happen as much as you can, because it's good to shoot for something. The thing about it is, even if you shoot high for a goal like that, you may not hit that full goal, but you might come close, and you'll see improvement in your work, and you'll see growth, and you might find that the things that you're doing might be a lot looser, but you might find out that you kind of like that, you know, or you know, I'm using more of a brush here, or I'm using more dynamic shapes here, and how I figure out my process. But it gets you to where you want to be, and if you like that, then you keep with it, because there's nothing wrong with experimenting. Because like for me, I think I'm in this weird thing now where I'm getting locked in the super detailed stuff, and it's just because I'm a weirdo and I ink digitally now. For most part, like when I scan in my inks, I'll go in and zoom really in there and add more detail, and like that's dumb, because it's just like no one's gonna see that but you. No one knows that little line that looks so cool and feathered, and when you back out of it, it looks like a big fat shape. No one's gonna know that but you, and you spend an hour on that. Congratulations, you know. So maybe don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
We got a question.
Yeah, we have a question actually for someone that's going to be actually coming up on our interview for API month. This is for Lipway. Yeah, he says your art is always so dynamic and clean. I wonder how much time you spend for each art piece. Let's say a cover or a commission. It's a good question.
So I don't distinguish. So the thing that I hate the most is when I meet an artist and they tell me they have an A, B, and C rate, and I'm just like, dude, there should be one standard for you, which is the best. And whether you're getting paid $5 or you're getting paid $1,000 or whatever your rate is, you want to try to make that your best effort, because you have to have a standard. When you become morally flexible in the varied degrees of your professional work, it's a slippery slope, because then it's very easy to check out and not care and not have a standard for yourself. So the time I spend on a cover for a publisher is the same time I spend on a commission. This is why it takes so long, because I want it to look good. I have a standard for my work that I'm trying to achieve. And if it doesn't, I rip it up and I throw it away and I start over. So, because I want it to be good. I know that one image, because I know this, that image, if I do something that I don't like, or I'm not happy with, or like hits a certain bar for me, I know that people are going to be posting that all the time. I'm going to see that every day, and it's going to piss me off every time because I know that I didn't give it my best, and I dropped my standard in order to get it done, and I didn't give it my best, and it's going to be in my face every day. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want that. That's not what I want. The thing about it is, you are judged by what you create, and usually judged by the thing that you create most recently, and that's a thing that people are going to remember you by. And you're either okay with it or not okay with it. And I think in my work, I need to find a way where I find a better balance between shape and form and detail where it doesn't kill me so much. I need to kind of rediscover that. This is why it's good about doing comic interiors, because on covers, you can get as OCD as you want. And that I'm very OCD. But when you're doing comic pages, not everything can be that polished. You have to make certain choices and decisions on where you spend your time and where that time goes. And maybe it's, you really go more detailed on faces, but everything else around that maybe is a little looser. So you have points of interest and things that when you're guiding that panel, that eye through the panel, the things that you want to have focus on are the things with the most detail. Everything else is not important. So that little can of like tomato juice in the corner, nobody cares about but you. But no one's going to pick up on that. They'll say, okay, can of tomato juice, done, or orange juice or whatever. So you got to try to figure out. And that's something that just comes with repetition and practice. And I'm sorely out of practice. So I need to kind of get back and kind of rediscover that. Because when you start rediscovering those things and trying to streamline your work and make it better or faster, you're pushing yourself and setting a new goal for yourself. And it's going to be really uncomfortable, and it's really going to suck, and you're going to think you're horrible at it, and the whole world hates you, and you're going to cry, and you just get so mad. You're like, oh, I suck, and oh, I'm such a fraud. That's totally normal. It's just put in that time, in that effort, and those hours to kind of get you to your next level. But
I do have a suggestion for you.
Yeah.
Careful where you throw your art away. Somebody will dig it up.
Red will find it. Red's gonna find it.
I rip it up. So I learned. I rip it all up. I have friends who are art dealers, and they will go through your garbage. So.
Oh snap!
Yeah. So
going off of that right there, Jonboy, just putting in all your effort, you start and you're like, I don't like this, throw it away, start all over again. Can you tell us of a piece where you did that, where you're like, this is not good enough, and you went back and redid it, and it was just, yes, this is exactly what I want? Is there one piece where that stands out the most?
Well, so what had happened was, funny story. So I did that, and then I'm like, oh, I liked it better the first time. I shouldn't have thrown it away. And my wife's like, you think? So sometimes when I get like that, what I'll do is I'll set it aside and start over. And then once I get to a certain point, I'll take them both out and I'll look at them. I'm like, which one is better? Okay, cool. I like what I did here. Maybe I'll incorporate that here because I like this piece more and kind of do it that way. Sometimes it's never as bad as we think, right? It's kind of like our fears. It's never as bad as you think it is. So if you can do that and save it and not be overly emotional, like some of us here, maybe try to set it aside, start over if it's not working for you, and see how you feel about it in the morning, or put it away and come back to it in the morning, or work on something else. But sometimes, like what was I working on? I think that Transformers cover that we were talking about earlier, I was not exactly happy with. Just Transformers, to me, it's got to look G1. And if it doesn't look G1, it's a fail in my mind, because I grew up with G1. That is my end all be all. It's got to look G1. So when I was working on it, I didn't really like it. So I started over on it. And what I got was something that I liked a lot better, because it's like, okay, that feels G1 to me. Like, that feels like a good Optimus Prime. That feels like, okay, like he feels pretty good. Because the thing about it with work too is, when you're doing something, especially as a cover artist, your main job is to make sure people pick up the cover. You have to figure out what's on the rack next to you. And you have to look at the color palettes that they use. So like on Transformers, you're stuck between Spider-Man and Wolverine, really, like roughly, right? So what colors are they using? Oh, okay, they're using a lot of blues. Okay, maybe some yellows. Okay, so if I go primary colors on this, maybe use yellows to pop out the reds and the cools, and I do this, and maybe I can, when that's on the stand, that'll pop out. I'm like, cool, maybe I need to do that. And then it's about also like, there's so many good things out there that you want it to be the best. So it's like, okay, I have to give people a reason to pick up this issue, because as a cover artist, that is my job, is to get you to buy that issue. Yeah. And then it's the art team and the writer's job to hook you on that book so you pick it up month after month. So I have to do my job is getting you to pick up that book. And then if you buy it, that's even better. Yeah. So those are the things that are kind of like always rattling around in my head of like, what do I need to do and what does it need to look like? And especially what the art team is delivering on that book. And if I can see what covers are being done for that series, that's even better, because you don't want to do ones that people have already done. I'll look through the series, like the Transformers ones, like, hey, has there been a really cool one of Optimus Prime standing there being shot up? Not really. Cool. I can do that. Like they've done ones where he's kind of standing there, or he's crouched, or he's doing this, but not one where he's shot up. It's got some bullet holes in him. I'm like, cool. No one's really shown you a damaged Optimus Prime, so cool. That's something that I can do. That's something new to readers. Like they'll see that, like, oh, this is something different. Like I haven't seen this yet. Like I want to pick that up. The danger is when you're doing things like homage covers and stuff like that. There's a real inherent danger to that, because that's such a niche boutique market. Like how many Spider-Man 300 homages do you need? Like I think we should have stopped at 5, but we got like 5,000. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's probably way more than 5,000. Yeah.
So I'm still waiting for that Spider-Man Optimus, homage. By the way, okay.
Oh yeah. But what I'm saying is like, you want to try to be a little bit more original if you can. And try to do something different. That the mark of a good artist is doing something that people haven't seen, or doing something that people don't expect. Because sometimes that is a lot more work. But I go through sketch after sketch after sketch until I find something that I think is gonna hit that mark. Because you want to do something unexpected, but you want to give people the same crap, because it's just like okay, like, yeah, like, well, okay, here's another Spider-Man 300 album. It's like, why would Optimus Prime even be in that pose?
Listen, that's a question to ask Shelby Robertson, because like Jay said, he has literally added 4,998 of them.
Can Optimus Prime even get into that
It's
pose?
a troll thing. Yeah, he can.
Well,
You can
I think,
easily.
Yeah. I think it's a personal thing. I think for me, I want to do more, and I want to deliver something that's a little better and a little different, and I don't want to be lost in that sea of just people just being mediocre and just delivering stuff just to deliver stuff. I don't want to be that artist. I don't want to be that guy. I really want to try to do the best I possibly can with something, with the time I have, and try to deliver something that's really good and unique. I don't want to get lost in that sea of just like, it's like,
you want to bring your own uniqueness to it.
But you did do a homage cover to Optimus Prime with that Transformers #4, where he was doing the pose when he transformed out of the truck.
That is. Well,
but you were the only one that did that, right?
So what was weird to me was that nobody has really, people have done versions of that, but not that, right? Yeah. And like that was an iconic moment for me as a kid. Yeah. And I kept thinking like, dude, like if I were gonna do homage, that would be it. And I did do it. And I'm like,
and you nailed it.
Nailed it. That's why we love you. That's why we love you.
Immediately we caught that. We're like, oh man, dude, we know exactly what pose that is. So speaking about that right there, are there any other poses from the Transformers movie that you'd like to actually tackle?
Yes, I would, but it's got to be for the right cover, the right thing, because I don't do a lot of retailer covers anymore unless I'm involved, like directly involved with it. As a partner, but sometimes when you're doing stuff, you got to make sure, okay, does this feel right? Like I always wanted to, well, I don't want to give away that someone's going to do it. And then but yeah, there are moments and beats in Transformers that I'd love to do something really, really cool. Something along those lines. Because it honestly, it's also paying like otaku like love to those things that you did as a kid and that you enjoyed as a kid. Because then you're actually adding onto the meta of that what that thing is, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you want to feel like you're contributing to things that you love. This is why, like, I feel like, and I'm sure Ryan, you probably feel this way too. When you're on a book, you want to leave your distinct impression on a series. You don't want your run to be forgettable. And like when I was working on Spawn, I had that same thing. Like Todd's like, well, do whatever you want, you know, because I don't like it, I'll change it later on. I'm like, great. I just knew that like Greg Capullo is probably the end all be all Spawn artist next to Todd, and I'm never gonna be able to hold a candle to either of those guys. So
speaking of Todd, what did you think of him inking your? Didn't he ink a cover?
He did, but he didn't follow it. I have the pencils to that. I should post that. But he did whatever he wanted to it, which is Todd. It's his thing.
He just like digitally inked it or something.
What's that?
He just like digitally inked it.
He digitally inked it, but he changed everything. So, it's fine. I mean, look, man, like just to have Todd ink some of my stuff is a huge honor. And like, you know, the thing is, I still have the original to that. So if I wanted, like, here it is, and you know, like, but you know, I don't want people throwing shade at Todd for doing what he did. It's like, you know, it's like the thing about it is you try to do the best you can with the time you got. And Todd really wanted to ink something. He didn't have a lot of time. So he said, just send me what you got. I'm like, scanned it, send it. He's like, I'm going to change it. There's too much crap here. I don't have time. So, but it's still Spawn. But I mean, you always want to try to do something with the character, whether people like it or hate it. You don't want to do things that feel too alien to the people who already love it, but kind of fits in that same universe. So I knew Todd did Venom and gave him the mouth and the tongue, and I'm like, oh, dude, let me add that to Spawn. That would be a really great way for that character to emote. And I knew, like, I think Greg did that in a couple of his paintings, and I liked it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to make it skull-like, make it more creature-like. So I did that. And a lot of artists now have been doing that. Now that Spawn has a mouth, he has a tongue, and he talks to people and he emotes. And it's kind of like an elevation of that character, the next evolution for that character. And it's nice that I try to do something to distinguish my run from everyone else's run. Because there's nothing wrong with being as weird and as different as you want, but you have to still pay respect to who the core of that character and that audience is. Because if I gave Spawn like a pink armband, like people would lose their minds because that's not the character, you know? It has to make sense for in-character stuff. It has to be a progression, you know? You don't want something that is not brand specific. This doesn't, that's why so many people, like, you know, during the, like the beer commercial thing, you know, revolted against a transgender person like hawking their beer because it's not representative of your customer base. And it's like, that means that you as a company are completely out of touch with who your customer base is. And it's different if you want to reach out to a new customer base, but then if you do that, what do you do to maintain your customer loyalty with this space? For me, I would launch a separate product made by us, but targets that group. You know, like, hey, this is who we want to target, a new group, and then try to introduce them to your brand at some point, your key brand. So, you know, this is why people revolted, just two aliens. Like, this does not represent us. They're saying, like, okay, this is representative. You know, it's not the same thing. So you want to, this is why some reboots on characters don't work, because you're not paying otaku or fan service to what was already done, but then trying to do that 1% different. You know what I mean? To make it fresh and new and kind of reinvent it just slightly, but it's still the same thing, you know? I don't know. So,
all right. Well, Jonboy, we're gonna just, you know, you've been so generous with your time, and we're just gonna, you know, thank you again for joining us. But is there anything else you want to just promote right real quick? And we're just gonna let you go and let you enjoy.
Oh yeah, sure. Like, thank you guys for having me on. I do want to recognize all the Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders who have made such great contributions to the comics medium. And those creators also helped me Carl Potts, especially guys like Larry Hama, really doing things to inspire me. And then when you reconnect as an adult and get to meet them and you tell them your story and you remind them, they're like, oh man, they're like, wow, I had no idea, you know? So well, I guess what I would always want to say is like, you just never know whose lives you're going to touch and what type of impact you're going to make. I think the main thing about this journey, whatever vocation you're in, is, you know, try to do your best and try to be the best, but also try to pay it forward, because something that you feel is so small that it's just inherently who you are anyway, that you do for people, has a very long lasting impact. It creates a very big ripple, and you just don't realize what kind of ripple you're making until you see that years later. So, you know, kind of be the change you want to see in whatever part of life you're at, and always try to pay it forward. And you know, try to be a person of integrity as much as you can. We all screw up, but you know, it's like when you screw up, just, you know, don't make the same mistakes, make new ones. So
Nice.
yeah, that's better. Yeah.
I do have a question, because we have a lot of inspiring artists in the chat and stuff. And you said that your mentor told you to study the Andrew Loomis method. The Andrew Loomis method is one of my favorite methods of all time. It really breaks down like how to do faces and bone structure, and it does it in a simplified form. Is there any tips that you can give to somebody else that is trying to work on making their art more dynamic?
Yeah, the best thing you can do as an artist to get better at your craft, because the thing that I thought was, if I buy all these art books and anime art books, I'm going to be a great artist. And after my first year, I'm like, oh, I really still suck. What's going on here? The thing about it is, you can have all these great things that inspire you, but if you're not actually putting in the work to draw, it doesn't matter. These things don't matter. What matters is putting in the time to do it. Treat art like a sport. And you know what? You can copy your favorite artists. Like, I'm looking at Dan Mora's work a lot, and I'm trying to like copy it and figure it out. And like, okay, well, how does he break down shape and volume, and how does he get his proportions on spec? Like, okay, like, because like I initially was more anime, more cartoony inspired. Now I'm looking at artists who are a little bit more grounded in their work, but just freaking crushing it. Like, so I'm trying to like figure things out so I can try to bring that bag of tricks to my stuff. And like, okay, what can I do, and how can I implement what I'm learning? Because this process never ends as an artist. You always want to continue to evolve. You don't want to be the same artist 10 years from now. You want progression,
sure. Right? Yeah.
But the main thing about it is, if you want progression, you got to be different. If you want something different, you have to change. That's it. And that means spending more time, working harder if you have to. It means a little less sleep, or whatever that is in your mind. Because if you put in the time and the energy to do it, you're going to get better. You're going to see it. You may not see it. It might be as less as 3 months from now, and you'll see it. It might be a year from now or 5 years from now. I don't know. But the thing about it is, what are you willing to give up in order to get what you want? And if the main thing is, if you study form and study your people who inspire you, you got to spend the time to get good. And look, I get it. Like, when I first started, I did 5 years of independent work for free. I would work construction from like maybe 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I would work to about 5, 6 o'clock, go home, eat, and then I would work all the way to like maybe midnight, doing free comic book stuff and covers and stuff. Then I'd get up and do the same thing every day. And I did that for 5 years, and I still sucked. And eventually, though, something changed where I got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And sometimes that's that. Hopefully my journey it's been a long journey, but for you guys, hopefully it won't take you as long, because like I've got challenges, but like, for everyone else, it might be half that time. But the thing about it is, you have to put the time in to get good. And when you do make it, you realize like, oh, I really worked hard. I made it. Let me celebrate for half a second. But you know what? I have to keep, it's a continuous process. Maybe you can dial it back a little bit, but you never want to check out a little bit. You always want to be your best foot forward. If you feel like you're just mailing things in, you got to stop and you got to take a break, because maybe you're just working too hard and you're not smelling roses. And also, You want to make time for those people in your life who support you too, your family, you know, and understanding what your why. There's all these things that come into play, but you know, what's your why and doing what you want to do. You know, even if you're a father or mother or whatever, like, you know, the idea is, could I create a craft and create our own thing and provide for my family where my wife doesn't have to work? Oh, that would be great. If I did this and had enough trades, we have enough residual income, like I can put my kid through college. Or what is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? And it can't just be for the toys. Like, you know, like having a big boat and everything is great, but like, again, you know, you're gonna be on that boat probably by yourself or by a bunch of people who just want to write off your money and that's it. And then what are you gonna do? You know, still gonna be alone. You want people on your team. You want to. But it starts really with you, personal responsibility and working on your craft and putting the time in to do it. And the thing about it is you don't have to believe me. Research Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane and listen to their stories and listen to how bad they wanted it and what they did and how long they worked and what they, like Jim Lee would jog and he would have this mantra when he would run and it'd be like Byrne, Miller, blah, 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 blah. And he'd think of his favorite artists every time and how he was going to get there and do all this and do that and do that. The thing about it is you're not going to die from lack of sleep, man. You know, you're just going to be tired. But if your why is strong enough to keep you moving, you're going to be okay. Then maybe just, okay, on Sundays, I'm going to sleep all day or whatever. Like, but the thing about it is it's about your discipline and being consistent with that. Motivation only gets you so far, but consistency and discipline, that is what's going to make you great. Having the discipline to do something and when you don't want to do it, when you think you suck, or when you're down and you're still going to pick it up and do it, that is what's going to get you through those things. That's what's going to build that mindset in you. Because if you don't have it, you're not going to last in this industry. Because if you don't have the discipline to do the work, you're not going to last. Because comics, you're going to say comics are too hard. Yes, they are hard. But if you build a good base for yourself and you build a knowledge base of how you're going to break down shapes and tell your stories, are you going to use more blacks? Are you going to be like Mignola and do this? And ways to create your own shorthands to make your life a lot easier when you're drawing that long project. It's going to set you up for a lot more success. You just have to put yourself in those positions to think about how you want your work to be and how you want to roll that out. You know, it's a never-ending process. Like Todd told me very early on. I'm sorry to be so long-winded. I know, I'm like, shit, this guy is going on forever.
You're good. You're good.
Hey, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Like Red said, life lessons with Jonboy, man. Papa Jonboy just shooting off the knowledge.
Well,
and this is
Ryan knows what I'm talking about. Like when I was drawing Spawn, Todd was looking at me like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, what? He's like, look, bud, look, let me tell you something. You're drawing this all the time. You're going to burn yourself out. All this detail, everything in there. I'm like, whoa, look at all the detail. But like, he's like, look. He sent me some pages and he goes, look, Spawn is in shadow. I wrapped his cape around himself for a reason because you need to give yourself a break or you're going to burn yourself out. And I'm like, no, man, I like to draw. So I'm going to draw everything. He's like, all right, yeah, do whatever you want. And like by the second issue, I'm just like, oh, man. I'm like, okay, where's that cape? I'll black this out, wrap this guy in a big cape, wrap big cape. Oh, eyeball and shadow, you know. But it's figuring those things out to kind of help you get to where you need to be, man. You know, because you don't want to bring yourself up, but at the same time, it's like it's changing up your shots and making things a little bit more graphic and. But you don't know that until you go through that and you experience it. And then you start doing it like, well, what if I did this? Like, oh, it achieves the same thing and it still looks good. You know, sometimes you want to learn when people give you advice, but sometimes like you're dumbass like me, sometimes you do have to learn the hard way. You have to go through the crap. You're like, wow, how's that working for you? You know, you're like, not very good. And then you're like, okay, maybe I need to do this. So, you know, yeah, work smart, not hard, right? Exactly. But sometimes, you know, we need to make our mistakes for ourselves and we learn those lessons and we don't make those mistakes again. Make new ones, you know. So
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It took me so many years not to realize that I had to be perfect with my art. and try out different mediums, because sometimes you're just going to find the medium that works for you, because it might not be strictly just pencils. You might like really do well in digital stuff.
Well, you have to figure out what perfect means to you, right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, once you establish what that is, then you're like, okay, what perfect means to me, does that mean that it takes me 2 months to do an issue? Okay, well, that's not perfect to me. Or perfect to me is doing an issue a month. So, okay, if perfect means this type of style, but I want to do things within a month, where am I going to make my compromises at, as far as without sacrificing quality, what I feel is quality, but still reads high value, but it's easy to do. Like, okay, maybe I like to spend more time on faces and gear. Okay, that's my thing. Backgrounds, I always simplify my backgrounds, or I always use more blacks in my backgrounds, or things like that. Or half of my characters, I'll always shade black, or whatever, because you have to create these little pockets of rest for yourself so you don't burn things out. Because if it's going to take you 3 days to do one page, maybe for a creator on that might be good, but you're cramming a lot of crap in there, right? And that's going to burn you out. You got to remember, like, hey, this is a marathon, so I need to create a style that is high value, but also easy for me to maintain over a long period of time. Because
I like that.
Yeah, because most
it makes sense. Yeah,
it makes sense, but you have to do, like, don't take my word on it. I think you have to figure it out, whatever works for you. But there's a reason why Jim Lee works with the same people, works with Scott Williams and Alex Sinclair all the time, because Scott, well, Ryan can attest to this. Like, Scott fills in his details and knows if Jim does something wrong, he knows what Jim is going for and he'll fix it. Because you want people to be force multipliers. But if you don't have that, then you have to be your own force multiplier. You have to figure out things that work well for you to create those breaks for yourself. So,
Yeah.
But like, feel free to chime in, Ryan, because like you were there, like it's like, hey.
Do you have any tips, Ryan?
He created that perfect kind of like what do we call it? Like, line, like
assembly line
kind of thing. It's cool.
Nice. So, do we have a giveaway? Is that what we're working on, NammaN?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a little break and do some giveaway here.
Okay, cool. Is that what the rubber duck thing is for?
Yeah. So I have a, let's see, add to the stage. I have these people in the giveaway list.
Okay.
Let me know if you don't see your name in the chat. So I got GTK Comics, Something Wong, Entropy in Comic, Exclusives, Phil's Treehouse, Kevin P. West, Diggle Jam, Miss Ho, Kenneth Pryor.
We're going to be here for another 2 hours if we read them all off, NammaN.
Brian LCS. It's going to be 46 people.
He's an includer. He wants to make sure everyone's in here for sure. Like, you didn't want any angry emails.
PTT Kyle, Ellen Wu, Collect a Lot, Figure Drawing, Lipway.
Yeah, we let's run the race.
Max.
So what do they win? What are they winning here?
We're gonna go to your store. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that first.
Okay.
Let's do that first. Look at the list, guys, and see if your name's not in there. But let's do that. So we got like 46 people. So I was gonna just give it one set of giveaways, but
so guys, like, we can do 2 giveaways, and this will be on me. Just NammaN, just send me their names and addresses, and I'll have my agent send those out. We'll sign the books to get them shipped out. So
that is so awesome. Thanks, Jonboy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do 2 giveaways. Okay.
Yeah, there is a financial limit on this pinata though, so it's like, hey, we can keep it under $50.
How about we do this? How about we do this? Let's do the duck, and the first person who wins gets choice, and then the second winner gets Jonboy's choice. How about that?
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me pull up my site too, so I can walk through there. Well,
let's see.
Well, that Godzilla cover is incredible.
Yeah.
That Street Fighter was pretty dope, but let's try to keep it. Let's have.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think is under $50? What do you guys think?
There's nothing wrong with that Godzilla. There really isn't.
Oh, you guys can buy that too. That would be great. That would be awesome.
Okay.
No one needs a house.
Yeah. Let me go and sell my house and give this away. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, if they win it, you're buying it because you're the one selling it. No,
oh no, I don't want you guys spending any money.
Winner gets. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Let's go down here.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's pretty dope.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Do that one.
Well, you know what? Instead of doing this, it's less than $50. So let's just pick the winner, and then the winner can pick, and then NammaN, you just send me their info and the book, and I'll send that out. That way,
sounds good.
That way, no one's got her feelings, so they get what they
Okay,
want.
so I am missing the. Okay, anyone claiming their name is missing?
No, he's saying he's missing that berserker. Actually.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone should be on there. Yeah.
All
right. Do another like crazy number, NammaN, like 34. 34 seconds. 34 seconds.
34 seconds.
34
right?
seconds. Let's do that.
All right. I'm just gonna do 34 seconds.
What happens here? Like
they battle it out on the water.
Do they have to do something with their keyboard or something?
No, it's just automatic.
We let the algorithm do.
I'm gonna do some shuffling. Give me a number, Jonboy.
44.
1 through 10.
Oh, 4.
1 through 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm gonna start. Good luck, guys. Can you hear this?
Big money. Let's go.
Yeah, they all get individual costumes
too.
Rocking
it. Wow.
You need that long nose.
We already know what happens with the person in front.
Oh no! Looks like Dan's coming up.
Dan's coming up. Dan's coming up.
Too early.
Las Cruces.
Las Cruces.
Las Cruces. We're having a Las Cruces. Punchy's coming. Punchy. Nice.
Punch with the win, number 36.
Wow.
Way to go, Hawaiian Punch.
I was intense.
One more race, guys.
Wait. Well, Hawaiian Punch, what are you going to pick? What do you want? Who is Hawaiian Punch?
I don't know if he's still in chat. If he's still in chat, I might have to have him reach out to a DM because.
Do you have to be present to win, though?
No, but I gotta get their information. So
yeah. He'll message me back right away.
All right, let's do it. Let's do another one.
Part 2.
Or are we doing 3?
This is Jonboy's choice right here. So the second winner is gonna get whatever Jonboy says you're gonna get.
You know what? We'll let him pick. It's all right. You know what? It's
okay, race again.
All right.
Shuffle
it. Shuffle the characters again.
How many times this time? How many shuffle?
We'll do 3.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Good luck, guys. Everybody.
Wouldn't that be weird if Hawaiian Punch won it? That would not be good luck.
Oh man, that would be nuts.
That's a rig.
I should be accused of a rig no matter what.
Some people
Hello
coming
from
up
New
front.
Mexico's coming up.
No, Las Cruces.
Las Cruces.
No, Las Cruces too early, man.
He's not hitting no underwater logs here. Hold on. Las Cruces. He's on underwater logs.
Norin.
Something wrong
with the win. Congratulations out to all of the winners tonight. $50 limit.
He is super dark.
That was intense.
Something right.
That was hardcore right there.
You know,
we got the.
Let's do it one more time. We got to do 3.
One more time.
One more time.
All right. I'm gonna remove the winner from this race, okay?
Yes, please. Do.
We have a different winner.
Nice.
Yeah.
I already wrote him down, so we're good.
Okay.
Aw. I'm so excited. Longer and punchy. Nice.
Yes. Race again. Let's do it one more time.
Thanks, John. Look at Jonboy.
How many shuffle?
You know what? You guys pick. Go ahead.
Who's that? Ryan, you pick. Ryan.
Go all the way 10.
10. Whoa.
Okay. 1.
Credits.
2, 3. My fingers tired. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8, 9, 10. All right. Let's start.
Let's go. Let's go. I really like their costumes.
Who's up front right here? Someone from Canada up front.
Canada. Canada's going to cost us.
Sicko's up front. He's up. No underwater logging for Sicko.
I don't know.
He's still holding. What's
dang, Sicko.
If your treehouse is coming up right there.
CJ.
What is that thing?
CJ.
I mean, not
You
CJ.
sneaky duck.
Congratulations, CJ. Comic Journey. And don't worry about it, CJ. He won't charge you extra for an autograph, okay?
No, so all of these, so just winners, just let the crew know, and NammaN will let me know like what you guys want. They will all come signed. And I will get them out in the mail. My agent Melanie will take care of it, and just send me that stuff, NammaN, and we'll get it squared away.
I think we should charge Comic Journey for the autograph though, just on principle though.
Well, I appreciate that, John.
Comic Journey, $20 for the signature for John.
No, it's all right. It's okay.
No. Everything else is free, but you charge them $20 for the bag.
Hey, he might sell for a shop, man. Might make some extra money. You know what I mean?
Might.
In New York, so CJ has to pay for shipping and for the bag and for the board.
Hey, I'm just glad they're all U.S. Hopefully, they're all the U.S. So
they're all U.S.
Yes.
Sorry, Canadians. Sorry.
Canada is always kind of crazy, so you just don't know. So.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, wow, this has been a lot of fun. Sorry, I've been talking for almost 2.5 hours. So
pretty fast.
And that's the reason. That's the reason why we have you, Jonboy, is because it's not just about art with you. It's life lessons, man. Because you really spit that knowledge, and you're not just talking to the kids. You're talking.
I turned into an old man. That's what happened.
You're like 48 minutes older than me, Jonboy. Relax.
I know.
You still look good, okay? For as old as we are.
I like your thick, illustrious hair.
Okay, yeah, boy. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you pick who has the more luxurious hair. Eman versus K-pop. There you go.
Oh snap!
Here's Eman first.
Dang!
We'll give it to Katie.
Eman, go on, show off.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let's go to K-pop now. Let's go to K-pop.
We got this going on. We got Rat's Nest happening. Lovely.
I gotta say, it's both points for style. It's hard to choose. I would say the American winner would be K-pop, and then the Asian winner would be.
There we go.
Perfect.
We can do that.
Yes.
We can go with that.
Yeah. We can do
right
that.
there.
Don't make me choose. It's so hard to choose.
I know.
So before we let you go, Jonboy, just one more time, let everyone know exactly how they can find you on the social media.
Scammy answer. It totally is. It's I'm on jonboymeyers.com. My shop, my store. You can see all my appearances. I'm going to be at Comic-Con Revolution May 18th and 19th, which is in Ontario. So please come on out.
Nice.
It's a great show. Adam Kubert's going to be there. He's an awesome dude. I'm also going to be at all the Fan Expo shows for this year going forward. And I think next one is Fan Expo Dallas. I'm also on Instagram, Jonboy007, and Facebook, Art of Jonboy Meyers and Jonboy Meyers. And I'm going to be launching a Kickstarter this month, so keep your eyes out on social media. And I'll be launching that Transformers book that you saw online on eBay. So if you did not get your copies there, feel free to actually buy them from the legit source, which is us. I'll be launching those in Dallas Fan Expo, which is going to be this coming June. So I think that's it.
All right. So
thank you for always, Jonboy. It's great to catch up with you. And you're the true gem of the comic book industry, and we just love you. And again, love your artwork and love everything you're doing in the comic book industry.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's always good to be with friends, and anything with Ryan. I love Ryan to death, man. Brother from another mother. So thanks for having me on. I'm always happy to talk and share and inspire. Like for me, again, it's really good to kind of motivate people and pass things on to.
You should start your own. You should start your own YouTube channel. Just Inspirations by John.
Because you speak very well, sir. You speak
well. I've had a lot of people who help me, and I just want to make sure that I'm passing that forward. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of great people help me out, man. So, I just want to make sure I'm doing my part to help other people out too.
And we love it. Love it.
I personally enjoyed you guys your chat talk with Ryan quite a bit, and a lot of wisdom, a lot of good talking here. And by the way,
yes,
all your information would be in the like 5-6 channels in here. We're gonna all provide those links.
Oh wow!
And I want to plug something. K-pop. She does all the. She does all the what do you call it?
All the fancy stuff. She does all the Facebook stuff. Yeah, does it all.
Promotes the Kickstart books. So you gotta.
Oh right.
Yeah, so I think whenever that's ready, please look up on Katie, and she will.
We'd love to have you on. Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Jonboy, what's the Kickstarter for?
It's for a new sketchbook. So I did a volume 2 in 2019, and I did volume 1 like 10 years prior. But then people kept messaging me like, "Where's volume 1? I'm not going to buy volume 2, but I can't buy volume 1." I'm just like, oh. So I'm doing Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is, Ryan. So I'm doing a volume 1 which is remastered. So it's got a small edition of like all from the. A couple of pages from the old volume 1, but this is like 100 pages, slipcase, everything, that whole 9. So sweet. I'll be doing that. So hopefully we can get funding for it. I hope so, because
you're gonna crush it.
You know what? You always still got to put the work in. You can never think, oh, well, I'm just gonna put it out and it's gonna make me this big bag of money. I'm gonna roll in it in my bed and be like, haha.
Oh no, you gotta hustle that every day, multiple times a day out there. And be like, hey.
Nothing for granted, too. Nothing for granted. You always want to put in equal amount of time. That way, it's like, okay, because if it fails, then it's like, well, no one to blame but yourself, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm gonna drop this link one more time because it's the Kickstarter for the Steamroller Man one more time, because you do have a cool book in there. Nice, you guys.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Doing good stuff. Yeah.
Steamroller Man.
Thanks a lot again, Jonboy.
All the winners, and all you winners, be sure to let the group know who you are so they can send books out, and they will verify your name to your account. So
yes,
I'm sure they will do that. So, all right, guys.
All right, you guys. Jonboy, stick around for just a little bit longer, but to everyone else, thank you so much for hanging out.
See you guys.
Peace.
And don't forget on the 9th, we will have